Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Let them come.
Never gets old.
That one.
Never gets old. Anyway, welcome back to Where Heartbreak Feels Good, and we are back for our monthly episode. This time we are talking about everything that we watched in the month of July, now that we're in August. And joining me today is Josh Woodbury.
Hello, everyone. We're back. I think the last thing we did on this channel was watch in June. But we've been busy. Things have been happening. So, yeah.
Yeah. And
Barbenheimer.
And joining us as well is Evan Harris.
Glad to be here. Yeah, July was a fantastic month. And I think I should start off saying, like, this has to be one of the best summers, most consistent, at least, summers, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Most summers these days are pretty bad. Last year, I don't even remember what came out last summer. Nope was good. Nope was good, but that was like the end of the summer.
Wait, summers are always stacked, but we haven't had ones deliver like this.
Usually it's like one or two, one big one in June, one big one in July, and then your Marvel movie in May or whatever. But this month or this year, we got like one of the best Marvel movies in May with Guardians Volume 3. And then June, we had one of the best movies ever, in my opinion, Across the Spider-Verse.
The Flash?
The Flash, yeah, right. Across the Spider-Verse. And then July, we got Mission back behind Barbenheimer, which is 3 great movies. So I'm like, this is like probably one of the most consistent, not box office wise, but quality wise. I think I was very pleased with this past summer, especially pleased with this past July. We got a lot of great movies to talk about. Like I just said, Mission, Barbenheimer, and then this past week alone, theater camp, even though that was technically August, whatever. Theater camp we talk about.
July.
I saw it in August, and then of course Talk to Me, which is a horror indie film which I loved as well. So yeah, I mean, I've had a great summer so far. I wish it was still July because I do not want to go back to work in 2 weeks. That's gonna suck.
I don't want to go back to school.
And nobody does. But all my 6th graders are like so excited to get back. No. So yeah, I'm excited. And TV was good too. I've been watching a lot of TV. More so, I've been watching more TV this summer than movies. Like I
watched more TV this year than probably like the past 5 years combined. Honestly.
I'm so proud of you, Josh. I'm so proud.
I watched a lot. There's still something I need to catch up on, but
TV talk. Let's do it. Yeah, I'm watching tons of anime. I'm watching a lot of other TV shows. And last summer, I was watching a lot of South Korean movies. Just like I was trying to watch brand new movies per day, and I just haven't had the opportunity to do that this summer, unfortunately. But TV, it's good shit.
But before we get into any of the things that we did watch, we kind of have to address something on top, not necessarily because it affects us directly, but like, I mean, it kind of does, and it probably will next year.
It does. It's everywhere.
We wouldn't be able to be talking about the things that we love and about the things that we're watching every single day, week, month, year, if it wasn't for the people, the actual human flesh people behind all of these projects, behind TV, behind movies, things like Across the Spider-Verse, Mission Impossible, Barbie, now that it's this gigantic hit alongside with Oppenheimer as well. Like, I think this summer we are learning that this year this entire year since like January with like hits like Megan, like people are craving for things that feel like they were actually made with care, not because they had to make it because it was like, okay, we need to make another Indiana Jones, which I liked. I think it was fun, whatever. But that feels more like a thing by committee than something that somebody actually wanted to make. And we're obviously talking about all of this stuff because of the writer strikes and because of the Screen Actors Guild strikes, SAG, WGA. So yeah, we just kind of wanted to address that on top because we wouldn't be here talking about the things that we love without them. And if you would want to support them in any way, even if it's just like spreading the word through social media, we have a lot of links. Josh was able to put a lot of links on behind in the description below. So yeah,
Sweet.
that's it. I don't know if you guys want to add anything else.
Yeah, I just want
Yeah.
to say that, like,
Mhm.
of course, all three of us and everyone we've had on the show are all in full support of these strikes and the these wonderful people who are fighting for the heart of this industry and for fair compensation and for these corporations to not take away their jobs and for like soulless AI that doesn't have that human viewpoint that like makes this art form so special. And yeah,
I
we
think-
wouldn't have this podcast. We wouldn't have our favorite films and TV and media that we love to talk about without those creators, those writers, those actors. And yeah, we're in full support with them.
I completely agree with both of you. Yeah, full support as always. It's just this has been one fascinating and tragic year in terms of like what's going on with these strikes. The WGA has been on strike for over 100 days now, not being able to write, not being able to promote. Same thing for actors. Actors haven't been going on for 100 days now, but at this rate, we never know. So yeah, we're in full support. I can't imagine just negotiating with people who have these ideas, like Josh mentioned, of promoting AI in the future without consent, of like AI for writing, right? Like early writing stages. Imagine how that can possibly affect future up and coming writers as well. It's a bit of a detriment to up and coming writers in the industry, as well as current writers in the industry. So it's, yes, deeply tragic and upsetting thing. And every day it's important that we're talking about this because it seems like every day we're learning about new things that make it more despicable and disgusting about what these producers and studio heads are even considering as the days go on by, as the strikes go on by, about like the effects of AI and how just this morning, right? Like Zaslav from WB was talking about like, we made $100 million more due to not compensating the writers due to the writers' strike, right? So it's like just putting that in their monthly earnings call. It's just like it feels a little bit despicable and disgusting. And then on top of that, with more actors and writers coming on top within the news cycle, talking about like their unfortunate lack of money when it comes to residuals checks, which has been a big point of
That's been one of the
conversation.
main points of these strikes
Yeah.
is like streaming residuals and studios not paying out residuals and compensation fairly because the whole streaming rights and they're still like it's newer, so it hasn't been formed yet. Then that's what these strikes are for, basically.
Which is so fascinating, right? Like
Right.
the growth of streaming kind of like propelled during 2020, 2021 with the COVID pandemic. That was like the height of streaming. And then imagine that whole scenario, just the height of streaming, creating Max, Peacock, Paramount Plus, all these different streaming services. Most of them are not making a profit. Paramount Plus is like in debt. HBO Max turned to Max, still losing money. Disney Plus losing subscribers, gaining subscribers. Netflix, of course, is always gaining because it's Netflix, but it's still not as high as it like used to be. So it's like, and even then they're doing the whole password sharing BS. But so it's just like these studios, these new productions are creating these streaming services and then losing profit. And on top of that, not even paying the residuals to the writers and actors who are helping the streamers in the first place. So it's very much an icky cycle that we're living in these days.
It's something
And
that
also,
go for it.
Okay, also talking about like the AI aspect, reports came out recently about those background extras working on WandaVision who had their likeness scanned and no permission for when they use it in the future, no residuals, no compensation for that. They have no idea when it'll be used, and if it is used, they will see nothing from it.
Something that something that I learned about all of these residual things very early on, like even before the strike was like kind of becoming imminent that was going to happen, was the fact that an American writer, somebody like, for example, who worked on Wednesday, let's say for Netflix, will only get residuals, any kind of residual check, even if it's a little, only based on numbers that were based on the US, even though that a show like that, it's like an international like hit. It's a global phenomenon. Like everybody watched it. Even if you didn't like that, you probably watched it. So again, it just goes on to just show like all of the hypocrisy and the greed and And to the AI point, one last thing, like this thing about like trying to get algorithms to see what kind of projects can get greenlight in the future. If you would have told an executive maybe even a year ago, Barbie's gonna be this gigantic hit, directed by a woman, co-written by a woman, starring woman with a very feminist message about it. It's probably gonna make $1 billion, and it's probably gonna make more than that. They would have probably said like, yeah, right. And then it's because like there's this like almost like lightning in a bottle with every movie, whether it's good or bad. Like the fact that movies exist as a whole, like somebody made something, again, even if you like it or not, it's honestly it's a freaking miracle.
It's
And
magic.
it's magic, and AI is never gonna be able to like guess what's gonna be a hit or not, because like as much as you want to say that, oh, like the numbers of the last movie were good, so obviously we need to make another one. Like just look at the movies this summer: The Flash, Fast and Furious. What else? The Little Mermaid is doing fine here domestically,
Shazam,
but not
India,
really
yeah.
in international.
Indiana
Indie.
Jones, yeah.
So
All these big blockbuster like IP franchises that flopped or like didn't do as well as they thought. And the things that are coming out on top, Barbie, Oppenheimer,
Elemental,
Spider-Verse,
remember, that's crazy.
Elemental,
Like,
yeah,
yeah.
are these more
Yeah.
original
comeback of the
stories
century.
that have like this sense of authenticity and what's the word?
Just fresh. Yeah.
Fresh and
Like somebody gave a shit about it.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, which is,
I mean, you could say that about like Indie and a few others, but like
exactly, yeah. Like, but it's still,
of course, we don't like every person making a film isn't setting out to like make a bad film. They want to make something as special as they can. But like, I don't know. I don't know.
No, but you're right. Like audiences, it just goes into what audiences are craving, regardless of what directors want to do, what they might not want to do. Like audiences are just like this summer, this early spring, it just showed us audiences are craving something unique and fun. Like even, Mario has been in our lives forever, and that was a smash hit because of the IP, but because this was like the first big Mario movie. Like we haven't had a big like Mario movie since like the 90s. That wouldn't really count.
That wasn't really big.
Right, yeah. It wasn't really Mario. It was two Italians in New York. But like it's just people just want things that make them feel good, that that are fresh and unique. Whether that's Mario or it's
sincerity, that was the word. They want something with like sincerity.
Yeah,
exactly.
And like even in March, like Scream, John Wick, I'm missing another one, Creed 3, like all of these movies, like again, like they have that sense of sincerity, and people can see that like people are not dumb. They might act dumb sometimes on social media, but they're not like complete idiots. Like people can see through what you're trying to do. Like if you're just trying to sell them like the same old movie again, just repackaged, like they're not gonna show up.
Which is why I always go against like people are like just cater to the audience, because like the audience are the ones seeing these movies. The audience are the ones like
the audience would not have made Greta Gerwig's Barbie.
Right, that's what I'm saying, right? But the audience wouldn't have been like craving Greta Gerwig's Barbie, but they're also the same ones that like once they see it, they accept it and they're super hyped for it, right? Like you said, like they wouldn't have been able to make it the way Greta did. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of hard to explain, but like
because there's that human touch and that vision that like comes through, and
cater to
like,
your
back
vision.
to the AI conversation. Like we've already seen some early examples on social media. Like it's missing that vision. Like it'll never be able to recreate something as magical as someone's point of view. Like
all the AI things,
vision.
All the AI things that you see on social media is just like a medium shot of like one person, and there's nothing else. It's
so dumb.
AI as a principle is built on the past. Like there would be no such thing as AI if it wasn't for what's within its algorithm. It's impossible.
It's built on machine learning, like stuff that you learn from
exactly, right? Like it's by definition, artificial intelligence is based on the artificial like conglomeration of what's on the internet, right? Like
it's not about creating something new, it's about recreating something.
Exactly. It's about recreating what came before, right? So I always tell my students that, like, my students are like, hey, Mr. Harris, can I use ChatGPT? Like, no, stop. So it's like ChatGPT, those things are like those created based off of like knowledge from the web or from life, right? So just imagine Ultron, Age of Ultron, just watching the TV. It's like, they get their stuff from the internet. anyways, so yeah, it's very important. It should always be talked about. Discussions should keep on happening because hopefully the strikes end. Hopefully we get a good, hopefully good things come to the table. Good deals, exactly.
Hopefully tomorrow. They're probably gonna talk tomorrow. So
is it recording? SAG, right?
No, it's with WGA.
WGA. Okay, I had a 50-50 shot there. So hopefully the other one, SAG, gets some talking as well. But
I left some links in the description for like various funds and donation sites that you could support the strikes, like the Entertainment Community Fund, the SAG-AFTRA Foundation, as well as like the Groceries for Riders from Humanitas, I think, and DSALA's Strike Talkers Solidarity Fund. There's several ways that you can go help people on strike and these foundations that are guilds, I guess, unions.
Yeah. Yes, that are keeping the strikes going. Exactly. So like Josh said, read our description. Yeah.
And good. Also on the tweet announcement of this stream, I also put a thread with obviously our thoughts and those links as well.
Did you say threads? What?
I will do a threads eventually. Only so much time.
I'm just kidding.
Once Mark adds DMs to the app. Anyway, with all of that out of the way, people, where should we start? In the beginning of the month.
Let me look at that good old Letterboxd. I still haven't ranked the past couple movies. I haven't ranked the past week of TMNT, all that kind of stuff. So, anyways, I think what do you have there, Edgar?
The first thing that I logged in, leading up to it, on June, I watched all of the Insidious movies, but on the very first day of July, I watched The Red Door. Surprisingly ahead. We should have picked it.
Was there a Red Door?
Yes.
Wait, it did well box office wise?
Yeah. Really well.
Isn't it the highest grossing Insidious movie now?
I think so, yeah.
At least opening weekend wise, right? Like it comes and goes, right? Like people aren't talking about Insidious now, but that's because the budget was like what, 20, 15 million, whatever.
Yeah.
It made its budget back already, opening weekend.
I think it did it on opening weekend. I think it did like what, 30 million? But whatever. Anyway.
Yeah.
That's a conversation for another day. The movie, it's really good. I think I don't think it's like excellent or anything like that, but I think it's a very solid like directorial debut for Patrick Wilson.
You might say, how is his direction?
I think it's really good, and I'm honestly surprised that this, like, what is it, like the sixth movie in the franchise that it's bombarded with like so many jump scares and all of these creatures and demons and whatever. This movie, again, not really trying to go into spoilers here. I don't know if you guys even care anyway, but the movie goes, Anyway, the movie goes on for like a good solid 30 minutes without a single like set piece like trying to scare you. It's just trying to do like character work, which I was actually very surprised by, and I was really engaged. I think the movie kind of dips when it actually turns into that like jump scare fest kind of thingy that the movie, all of these movies eventually become. But yeah, I think Patrick Wilson it's a promising director. I would really want to see like a straight drama from him one day because he has a really good eye for it.
That's good. Awesome.
I did watch. That's glad to hear that. I did watch the first Insidious this month.
Oh.
And
did you like it?
James Wan cooked the banner.
Is it better than his Conjuring?
Nah.
No. It's good though, and the visuals are great. Obviously, from James Wan, you would expect that. The character work is really interesting. It goes places I didn't think it would in the third act, which is really
the concept is really cool. The entire Insidious franchise, the concept is really cool.
Yeah,
it's not like your typical possession thing.
Creepy little fucker red guy is
the red
very good
guy.
Design. Yeah. Just like
I've always wanted to watch them.
Just let him cook in that little room making stuff.
Yeah, I've always wanted to watch it, but I've never had the opportunity. But yeah, are they all on Max now?
I think the first two are on Max.
First two.
That's all you need for Red Door, right?
Yeah, that's all you need for the Red Door.
How many directors have been in this franchise?
I think. Let me double
It's just
check.
Juan and Lee L, right?
Yeah, I think he directed
And now Wilson.
3 and 4, maybe. No, he only directed 3. The director from Upgrade and The Invisible Man. Yeah, he did the third one, and I think him and Juan wrote like treatments for 4. I want
Who
to
did
did
two?
four.
Was that also one? Insidious
Yeah.
2? Oh wow. Okay.
You can tell like 2 is good, but like you can tell that he was probably busy doing The
Focus on
Conjuring.
Conjuring. Yeah.
It's not as like it's a little bit all over the place, but I still like it. I think it's a different kind of movie from the first.
Okay. Fascinating. My early July was, I think we already talked about like indie, right? Indie and Past Lives. That was last month.
Yeah.
Okay. Did we talk about Joyride?
No, we didn't.
We
I
did.
can
Uh,
remember.
I saw Joyride, and this is probably one of the most funny movies I've seen in years. This was like I was dying laughing numerous times. Just there's a scene, no spoilers, when all 4 of them go to the hotel with some basketball players, and that was like one of the most funny
It's so
sequence
good.
of events. Just wild. This movie is like the definition of just wild, wild, wild. But I love the chemistry with all the cast members. Like, besides it being like raunchy and wild and crazy, the chemistry between all the leads there are amazing, fantastic. Stephanie Hsu, along with all the other cast members, are fantastic, and it has a great amount of heart. The story is like built upon the main lead's identity and where she comes from and her kind of family origins, but
She was
also even
adopted.
yeah, she was adopted, and it has like kind of like that Asian immigration backdrop to it, but it still manages to be universal in its themes of like identity and like how do I belong,
Yeah.
friendship, how far are you willing to go, that kind of thing. So I really loved all of that, and by the end, I was just very pleased by this movie.
Sherry Cola in that movie is like the star of it. Like I think she's like incredible.
Which one is she?
She's the best friend.
Got it. Okay, yeah, she's
Yeah.
great. Love her.
Stephanie
Yeah, but, like,
Hsu, also incredible.
yeah. There's some really funny set pieces, especially centered around Stephanie Hsu and what kind of tattoo she has.
Man,
So good.
she's in wild. I did not expect how far this movie was willing to go.
So good.
Yeah.
I'm honestly surprised. Like maybe it's the timing where it was released, because I feel like if this movie would have released maybe sometime in the spring or the fall, it would have done a little bit better. But like,
Yeah. It was
but,
like a 2 weeks before Barbenheimer. Like everyone
Yeah.
was getting ready for that, and Mission Impossible too.
and it also kind of clashed with No Hard Feelings, so it kind of
Yeah.
was released on that same.
I think it's
window.
better than No Hard Feelings.
Yeah, it is much better than No
Yeah.
Hard Feelings. But also like I think I laughed a lot in this movie. I don't think it's like the best comedy of the year. We'll get to that later.
Oh yeah, we will.
We will. I think this movie sometimes like the jokes don't land. I feel like some jokes kind of feel like they're trying to be funny than actually being funny. But again, like the entire like the chemistry with the characters is what really sells this movie for me. So.
And like we said, why do we see talking about sincerity? It has that sincerity, and it too has so much heart.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I'm shocked. I'm like, did I not watch it? I got quite a story for you guys.
Mission Impossible?
So before Mission Impossible, my dad texted me July 3rd. He was like, you know what, Evan? I saw this trailer for Sound of Freedom.
Oh no.
God. Oh no.
This is before I knew jack shit about Sound of Freedom. I didn't know anything about Sound of Freedom.
That's because nobody knew about it.
Nobody knew about it. So like I looked it up. I was like, oh, it has like a 90% Rotten Tomatoes. I'll go watch it. Like I know the guy from Persons of Interest. He's a solid actor.
No, Evan.
And then I saw the movie. First of all, this was an advanced screening. You know, it was the buy one.
You would do an advanced screening of it?
Blame his dad.
But Adam Tickets, he was like, I got an advanced ticket. I'm like,
you did
my dad
the free tickets?
Or I told my dad about it because I was going through Twitter, algorithm, and it said like Adam Tickets. I was like, Dad, this is the movie you're talking about. You should, free ticket, one of us. So I go to see it. We get there late, and it's packed. Like there's a line and everything. I'm like, what? Like I never heard of this movie, and it's packed. What's happening? And then I watched the movie. And I'm like, it's weird. Like, it's a very religious movie, and it's very heavy.
Oh, yeah.
Like, put all the tags on this movie as you want. It's very uncomfortable to watch. There's one scene in particular that I'm like, ew, it's not nice, boys. It's not nice.
Is
Not
it
great.
rated R?
It has to be. I think it definitely is. It's very icky at times, and it's very like, how do you explain it? Very patriotic. And I was like, it's very hoorah. We got to save these kids from the disgusting South America.
It's also
South
very
America,
incorrect.
disgusting. Yeah, which I didn't. I learned later. I was like, "Oh shit, this movie is so
What have I done?
What have I done? Burn my ticket." No, but I walked out like, yeah, that was like forgettable. It's one of those forgettable crime thrillers that you see every single year. But this one in particular, I'm like, okay, and that I forgot about it. My dad was like, it was fine, whatever.
Well, at least he didn't fall for it.
No, yeah, we didn't love it because like we watch shit like Criminal Minds. Like it's one of those basic procedural TVs where it's like, hey, rescue the kid. We rescued the kid and we're heroes for it. Yay, whatever. Fuck the government. Yay, the government is weird. Mixed messaging. Because like the dude quits his job to rescue this kid, but then he's also like, I do this for America. And Jesus Christ.
That's
whatever.
Conservatism for you.
Yeah, right. It's weird. But then I read the story, and I'm like, oh shit! Like, Jim Caviezel, the actor who I liked in Persons of Interest on TV, I used to watch his show all the time. I'm like, oh boy, like he's one of those QAnon. Like,
yeah, I think the director is too.
Like somebody linked me his interview. I'm just like, oh, he's hooked. He's in it. Like he's really. Yeah.
He's the Tom Cruise of QAnon.
Oh Jesus!
Oh no!
Honestly, I think he is because, like, isn't he like in a bunch of those kind of movies and people just show up for it?
I think so. On his IMDb, I was looking it up, and I'm like, oh, he has been one of those like what used to be straight to DVD.
There's movies that were like produced by the WWE.
Yeah, right. Yeah, like where they're low budget, but like this one, of course, with the premise is the hook, line, and sinker, like abduction. Every other movie is an abduction movie, but this one, of course, I could see why people liked it, I guess. But yeah, it just like there's one scene in particular that was very icky about like the disgusting stuff happening in the movie, but a lot of it, yeah, like Josh and Edgar mentioned and alluded to, it's very fake, very not accurate. So maybe dislike the movie even more because I came out of it giving it like a 2.5 or whatever, and then I saw the true stories and the background about it and how the guy who helped write the movie, who was like the true story character of the movie, how he lied about all this stuff or a lot of misinformation. So it made me dislike the movie even more. So I'm like, oh.
And there's also that ticket thing where
so
how do you feel about this movie making more than Mission Impossible?
It's so weird, right? Like,
it's not like it's a pay it forward thing where I think the studio bought a lot of tickets for people who have seen the movie to give it to their friends or something, but those unclaimed, if they're unclaimed, they still count towards the box.
They still count.
I think
it's so fucking stupid. Fascinating because I can see why people would go see the movie. Like from a religious Republican right standpoint, it's appealing in that sense. Yeah. But also, I can also see why I can see the whole disingenuine box office tickets part because of the buy one get one part. So I'm like, I can see people coming to it, but I can also see people just buying the ticket and not showing up too. Yeah. So it's very weird. I've never seen that.
From my understanding, and I haven't seen this movie, and I probably won't. I don't know. But like from my understanding is that I think people who did watch the movie are offered to like go to a link and pay for tickets so other people can watch it themselves. Correct. And that is why like it's not really the studio paying for the tickets. It's people that saw the movie paying so other people can watch the movie.
Well, people who haven't even seen the movie but like the message of the movie, right?
Yeah. Like for example, I heard that I don't know, like this church like told at the end of a session of a church on a Sunday, like the father or whatever, he told like the audience like, oh, like you guys should like pay like you should get like pay like money for this because it's a good cause or whatever.
Again, which allows that people pay it forward, which allows them to do the opportunity to do a buy one get one because no it makes no logical financial sense to do a buy one get one free, but if people are paying it forward, that allows them to balance out the buy.
Or it allows them to just pay for a bunch of fucking tickets that are unused and jack up the box office.
1000%. So it's very weird, and I wouldn't say because it is going to make more than Mission Impossible, but I wouldn't say like
That's fucking wild.
I wouldn't say it's directly affecting Mission because these people aren't the kind of people who would like. I mean, I wouldn't expect people to go see like, hey, I'm gonna go see Sound of Freedom, so I'm not gonna go see Mission Impossible. Like, I don't know.
No, it's because of the pay it forward thing. Right? That's what I believe.
But even if the pay it forward thing, that doesn't stop people. I'll pay it forward, but then I won't see Mission Impossible, right? Like,
No, it's just. I don't think they're related at all. I think it's just.
Okay, yeah. So we're on the same page.
Like,
Also, Mission
just making
Impossible
more money because they're
lost
false
theaters.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, and that too.
Yeah,
Also,
because again, other people were saying like it's directly related. I'm like,
It's not related at all. No.
One last thing about that movie. So I don't even remember when I watched Oppenheimer, but when I did watch Oppenheimer, I drove like an hour and a half to watch it in 70mm, and I took my cousin with me, and he was telling me on the way over there that he had seen like Sound of Freedom, but like he didn't really know what it was or anything. He was just kind of like dragged by his friends or whatever. And then like I started talking about him, like I told him like I haven't seen the movie, but I know like what's happening with this movie, like all of this weird shit. And then it was so funny because like very slowly I was like opening his mind to things that happen in the movies. He was like, oh shit, so that's why the movie ends with like a message, I guess, like
it's a song from about Jesus Christ.
Yeah, like we need to save God's children or whatever. Like he was slowly realizing like, oh, all of that was just like a bunch of bullshit. So again,
it was very weird way to end the movie because I'm like, why are we contextualizing this upon like God. And Jesus? It's really weird, and it makes it even more icky, right? But either way, not great, Bob. So again, it made me like it even less.
But Mission.
I went
Ferguson.
I don't. Full spoilers for Mission Impossible. All the movies we're going to be talking about, of course. Full spoilers.
Me and Edgar saw it in June,
and we talked a little bit about it.
Good for you.
Yeah.
So now full on spoilers.
I went on a 40-minute rant on Nathan's podcast.
Make it quick.
On AMPTP about the Rebecca Ferguson of it all, because I still think it's a dumb. Like I went through all the stages of grief. Like I was tearing up in the theater. I'm like, they're gonna do it, aren't they? They're gonna do it, aren't they? I'm like,
okay. Let me ask you this. At what point in the movie did you realize that it was gonna happen?
I mean,
the fake out. Or like
no, like her like dying.
No, I know, yeah.
Some backstory, like in 2020 when they were filming the movie, I saw Rebecca Ferguson fighting Isai Morales on the bridge, and people were like, "What?"
That shot leaked.
Well, I don't know if it leaked, but it was just like outside filming, and I'm like, "Oh." People are like, Rebecca Ferguson is going to kick ass in this movie. Didn't think anything of it. And then people are like, "Oh, watch her die in the scene." I'm like, idiots. It's Rebecca Ferguson. Fucking like, so that's been in my subconscious. But like, when she died in the first half of the movie, but didn't die, I'm like, oh, we're good. There's no way to kill her.
We're good.
That's dumb writing, right? Come on.
That's
like, do it.
And that's like killing Ben Solo halfway through the movie and then killing him again.
It's weird because I had a similar reason to that. I'm like, JJ created Ben Solo. There's no way he's gonna. But even then, I'm like, okay, Star Wars kills off characters all the time. I'm kind of used to it, even though, I'm not gonna talk about Dross. But either way, I'm like, Christopher McQuarrie created one of the most iconic action heroes of the past decade in Ilsa Faust. My dad loves her. My mom loves her. Jalen loves her. I love her. Like, great character, just great. I introduced somebody to Rogue Nation last month, in June, and she was like, "Oh my god, I love Rogue Nation. I love Ilsa Faust." I'm like, "Isn't she great? Like, awesome." And then to have her die so unceremoniously, it's weird. I don't like it. And then of course, and it was making me even more upset. It was like, this is McQuarrie, the guy who created the character, and he created the character because he didn't like these one and done female heroes.
I mean, she was 3 and done.
I mean, she was the longest one, right? And then, like,
had a good run, boy.
Christopher McQuarrie also notably saved Julia because Paramount wanted to kill Julia in Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. And McQuarrie came on board, was like,
"Oh, interesting.
No, like Julia should not be dead. Like we should keep her alive because Julia is an integral part of Ethan's character. And we're not going to waste another female character." Like, there's a quote about that where he saved Julia. People were like, "He saved Julia. There's no way he kills Ilsa." but then you kill Ilsa in one of the most unceremonious ways possible. And it feels even worse where the next
I don't
scene
think it was
was
unceremonious.
it's unceremonious as hell. The fight scene is cool, but it's then weirdly edited where we see the stab, we cut, and then she's just laying there dead. I'm like, no
That's
final
how deaths work, Evan.
words, no nothing. I mean, no, but like
No one's there. Who she have final words to?
I mean, have any kind of significant character moment at the end there?
That's realistic. Like she died before Ethan could get there.
No words to Ethan Morales. She just shows up. I was hoping it'd be you. No word from Rebecca Ferguson. And then especially it makes it even worse when there were tons of lines with the Venice rooftop scene. There was tons of lines with the bridge scene, cut. And then she gets cut. The fight scene is awesome. The score is awesome. But then when we get to the death, I'm just like, I don't know. It's horrible.
Of course, she's not like you're not to have her say like her final words to Ethan because like the whole point is like he couldn't save her. So of course it's too late for that.
You're justifying a decision that the writers made within the movie.
It's a good decision.
And I'm saying the decision's stupid.
Okay,
I think it's a horrible decision. And Christopher McQuarrie's justification is even probably the worst thing of all, where he's like, in this movie, we have to deal with Ethan's, what's it called? Ethan has a curse on him because a lot of people that he's close to end up dying. And I'm like, that's just flat out wrong. The people that Ethan close to do not die. You literally saved Julia. And then in all the movies, nobody close to Ethan dies. Like, we lose Kerry Russell in the beginning of Mission Impossible 3. And that's an effective death because we, first of all, don't know the character. And then we get to know the character within the first 15 minutes. And when we get to know, it's like, okay, it makes me feel for Kerry Russell. I like that. But then she dies. It's tragic, but it works for the movie itself. Everybody else doesn't die. This isn't a franchise where people die left and right. Like, I can count on my hand the amount of people who die for real in this movie that are close.
That's why it's so impactful.
I mean, but you're going against the theme. Don't tell me your theme is that people close to Ethan die. That's not accurate. Nobody dies. So why are you trying to say
first part of a two-parter like big event? You need stakes.
You don't need to kill people to create stakes. I think that every time.
It does a good job of creating stakes.
No, it doesn't. Especially when it's Rebecca Faust. If you want to kill somebody,
Evan, take away your bias towards Elsa Faust.
I said this on stream last year. I was like, take away my bias, which it's hard to. I have bias, but like, if you want some bias to make it more impactful death, are you gonna do the person that was introduced 3 movies ago?
Yes, because she's the most important person to Ethan.
Wrong. Like,
wrong? I'm not wrong.
So Luther from Mission Impossible 1 means less to Ethan than Rebecca Faust.
Yes.
Benji, who she met in Mission Impossible 3,
they're
means
equal,
less to them.
She's top 3.
There's only 3.
Yeah.
Again,
there's only 3 people.
I would say losing Benji and losing Luther are much more emotional deaths. And outside of the whole Ilsa Faust thing, I think those two had a longer connection with Ethan.
Yeah, but you don't kill Luther
and 2 characters. Why not? Why not?
I mean, yeah.
Well, exactly. It's like,
why not kill Red Ferguson?
They made a character in that didn't make a character. These are 2 characters who do pretty much the same thing. They make a joke of it in the movie. We both do tech shit, right? It's like, do we need Luther who sits in a chair and makes jokes all day? Like, Luther is great. I love you, Ving Rhames, but you sit in a chair and you talk to the audience. I'm like, Rebecca Ferguson was Ethan's out. Rebecca Ferguson was somebody who was.
But we knew Ethan was never to have an out. He was never to take that out.
Oh no, exactly. But it gave him options, right? Like, you can say the same thing about.
And Ilsa Faust was never to take that out as well.
You can say the same thing about Batman and Dark Knight Rises. I don't like the movie, but it's like, you introduce what's her name, Catwoman, as Bale's out, as even though he loves being Batman. His out was always going to be Catwoman. That's the point of his arc. Like, so in this arc, Rebecca Ferguson, whether Ethan wants to admit it or not, or is or isn't, is always going to be about the mission. He loves the mission, and there's going to be doubts within following the mission or not. And I like that theme in the movie, where he has to juggle between the lives of his friends and the cost of the mission. That's been going on progressively from Rogue Nation to Fallout to now Dead Reckoning. I think that's fantastic.
That's why it made sense that one of his friends, also the person who he sees himself most in, it's why it made sense for her to die and have those states be ramped up.
I see what you're saying there. I just disagree with that because I think we're falling in line with the villain's prerogative. The villain's like, hey, this mission's going to cost you dearly. Then since when does the villain be right? Like the point of the Mission Impossible.
That's why the stakes are so greased. But
I disagree. I mean, like the stakes are raised, sure, they're a little bit raised, but then if the stakes are raised, how come we don't really talk about it? Like, there's one scene where we talk about it.
I do agree that they could have probably
move on away from it very quickly. That's my only complaint about the movie. I don't mind the choice. I don't mind the. I'm more leaning towards Josh than you, Evan, in the sense that I think it does serve like a purpose, like her death, and not only in like Ethan's arc, but like the overall narrative of the franchise where it's going right now. But I do think that overall, like they move away from it very quickly. It's almost like it doesn't even happen.
You move away from it very quickly.
Yeah, you needed way more than just one scene afterwards.
It makes me so upset, and then it's like, well, you know, Ilsa died so you can live to Haley Atwell. And I love Haley Atwell. She's fantastic in this movie.
She's a highlight of
the movie.
MVP.
It makes me seem like why can't we just have Ilsa and Haley? I feel like Haley is taking the spot of Ilsa. So does Haley have to die in 2 movies now because she's close to Ethan? So what's the difference? Like I don't get it. So I'm like, what made Ilsa have to die, but then Haley? Like, what's Haley's used for then, right? Like, I mean,
she's the new lost soul that, like, obviously has been lost.
That's the same character as Ilsa, a lost soul from the MI6.
But Ilsa has been in it since the beginning. Was MI6, right?
Yeah. She was a spy.
She's been a spy. She's been
it also
in the
like
system.
Yeah, it also like
it makes you feel like you can't have Ilsa and Haley Atwell in the scene. They had to kill off Ilsa so Haley can get more time to shine.
I think
I don't necessarily agree with that. But I think I see what you're saying, Evan, but like I don't think that's what happened.
I think also like the another point about like her death, like having a purpose in the story, is that it's not so much that you can have both like female characters, is that Grace in this movie, like she is kind of almost very like self-centered and very selfish, and seeing somebody else who she barely knew die, like when she was supposed to be the one that was going to die, like seeing somebody else die for her, like I think that's like the thing that finally clicks in her mind. Now it's not only like an Ethan thing that like I lose the people that I love, it's about other characters as well, particularly her, like Grace, like
being influenced by that death. Yeah, she's like, if Ilsa's willing to die, somebody who I had very little conversation with, if at all, is willing to risk her life for me, then I should join this cause so I can pay respects to that and just, you know, evolve as myself as a character. I think Haley's gonna have a great arc in the second movie. That's my only criticism of the movie.
Real quick,
I loved everything else.
Yeah, real quick, I just want to talk that initial mask reveal on the White Room. The best one in the series, probably.
With in the CIA headquarters.
Yeah, with the green like gas balls. Like,
oh, that was fantastic. Beautiful.
The audience went nuts when we watched it at the Paramount lot. It was incredible.
Oh, really? Yeah. I mean, I would. It's such a great scene. The crowd's like, "Oh, wow!" Josh muted.
But I was saying, Scott Mance is like inches away from just falling out of the seat.
That's amazing. I love that. Because that scene is great. The dialogue. I love this movie. This movie, it veers on very close to meta dialogue, but I dug it because Macquarie toed the line, but made it very like sincere, and it's like, so you guys just leave word. Like, I love Cary Elwes's delivery there. It's like, yeah, we kind of do, and he's just allowed to just choose to accept it. Like, it's very meta. It's laughing at the audience and the franchise itself, but it just toes the line enough to keep it serious, to keep it like in line. And yeah, I think Cary Elwes is great. Isai Morales is fantastic. Pom Klementieff, amazing as Paris. Yeah. She was a great assassin. Hopefully, I mean, she survives at the end of the movie.
Kirby, great, like as like playing both herself and Haley Atwell.
Haley Atwell playing herself. Yeah, that was exactly right. Yeah, so good. Tom Cruise, Rebecca Ferguson are also fantastic. Great chemistry.
And
That desert
I think
sequence.
I think this film has some of the best set pieces of the franchise too. Like
oh my
the
god,
the whole train sequence from the jump leading into the train, what happens on the train, then the Titanic like that's finale, like incredible.
I have a small criticism of the jump. I mean, the jump is great. I love the jump, but afterward, it's edited
Too much
very.
cutting. Yeah,
It's a lot of cutting.
Yeah.
I'm like, just stick with. I was kind of hoping they would just stick with the jump, go into the what's it called? It's not even a parachute. It's kind of like a land glider thing, wingsuit, whatever. Windbreaker, sure. Because I saw some behind the scenes of like him having to like do that. And it's hard to film. I was like, that's really commendable. Of course, it's Tom Cruise. But I would have liked it instead of just the cutting and editing. But I give them leeway because that last act has so many different plots. You have the whole Esai Morales, you have Vanessa Kirby, Haley Atwell. Then you have the whole showdown between Haley Atwell and Vanessa Kirby and Kittredge. So like so many things are going on at once. Palm Clementieff is in there too. So many things are going off at once. I can see why you want to edit it like that to build momentum to Ethan crashing into the train, which was a great scene. Good to see, great gag. The physical comedy in this movie is peak form. With that scene at the end of the train sequence, but also the car ride throughout Rome is just great physical comedy.
The airport sequence, really good.
Airport sequence is amazing. Yeah. Just the magic, like this, like it's fantastic. I love. Like I've seen this movie 3 times now. The airport sequence is peak fiction, and then the Rome sequence, like this movie fucking moves. I love it. The pacing is well earned. Great direction from Macquarie.
The use of AI as the villain,
AI is the villain. You're right.
Very meta.
It's very meta, very intriguing. That club sequence when it's just like, it puts my heart like even though I know what happens to Ilsa, like every time my heart starts to beat when they get to there, I'm like, what is I still don't know. Like, what is their plan coming in? Like they plan to take the other key, but then they get totally warped by the AI, the entity. And when he says like 2 of you are going to die tonight, I'm like, are we actually going to lose one of these characters? That's why I was such in disbelief.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
if you want to hear more thoughts on Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1, a little shameless plug, you did find my review on this channel, posted obviously when the embargo lifted a month ago, where I went over like my thoughts and just check that out. And you'd also find Edgar's review over on Loud and Clear Reviews. I'll link that in the description as well.
Great reviews from both of you guys. I liked and I watched. But I also, what's it called? Shout out to Shea Wiggum, who's always been a favorite character actor of mine. He's great in this
movie. They join the team next in part 2. They're really good.
So.
That'd be fun. Also, I was mentioning Paris, Palm Clementieff's character, survived barely because the black guy, I forget his name, he took her pulse and she was like, she's still breathing at the end of the movie. So she could also be part of the team as well. And I think that would be fun as a revenge tactic against Gabriel and the entity. But yeah, I'm super hyped for Dead Reckoning Part 2.
Whenever we get it. No, I did 5 years.
Get it. Yeah,
5
exactly.
years.
2025.
Probably the same gap from like Fallout and this, to be honest. Maybe a little bit shorter, but
I think if it was, they already. I mean, that
they really should have shot it back to back.
I mean, they kind of were. That's what I was saying. That's kind of contributed to the budget, but they filmed like I think they said 40%.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because like the whole plane sequence was already filmed for part 2.
Yeah.
The airport sequence. Spoiler alert: there's gonna be an airport in part 2.
Okay.
So like, and then there's scenes with Ron from Parks and Recreation. What's his name?
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, Nick Offerman. Yes, Nick Offerman. He's in the movie. Okay. Yeah. On Instagram, you see Nick Offerman next to the guy from Mindhunter.
Yeah.
Jonathan Groff?
No, the other guy.
The other guy.
Okay.
I would love Jonathan Groff in the movie too.
Cushion over here.
But Nick Offerman and the other guy is seen like in a table in like this office space. So they filmed a number of different scenes. I think.
I thought like they were going to, but like they decided not to. That's what I always thought.
Oh no,
that's interesting because everybody is talking about like the budget for this movie as being so high, but like if they shot partially of
They shot
part
part
two
of it.
already, then they shouldn't
They're
really be
supposed to come
talking
out-
about it like that.
It was supposed to come out 3 years ago, and Tom Cruise famously said like he put a lot of his money into like keeping the filming. If you remember when Fast X lost its director, but then they still had to keep on pouring millions of dollars into the movie until they found a director. Same thing happened with Mission Impossible, where you pour millions just so you can keep the production stable, right? Like I don't want you guys to go move to a different movie. I want you guys to stay on my movie. I'll
keep the
pay
contracts like locked in.
Exactly, and that costs millions upon millions of dollars. So yeah, either way,
One
love
last
Mission
thing about this
Impossible.
movie.
Great movie.
One last thing about this movie that I find very interesting is that every single movie in this franchise, I believe, has been shot in film, and this movie was shot
First
digitally.
digital.
And it gives like this very like different vibe to them. Even when the trailers came out, I was always wondering like, why does this look different? And it's because
It
of
makes
that.
sense narratively too.
Yeah.
It makes sense. Yeah, I didn't even recognize that, but I can't wait to listen. I still haven't listened to the Empire podcast because I'm still in remorse over Ilsa. Because I hear Macquarie talks about that scene. That's where I got the quote from about like it's Ethan's curse. I'm like, okay, but he did reply to somebody saying like Ilsa gets a resolution of sorts in part 2. Does she come back? Probably not. But probably a flashback, probably like an actual discussion about Ilsa's death. A moment.
Ethan is like grieving. Yeah.
I would love that. And I did say after I left the theater, I was like, Dead Reckoning Part 2.
It's very much like a Han Solo situation.
Yeah.
Like we don't see Leia grieving in Force Awakens, but obviously there's that
wait.
scene in Last Jedi. Yeah.
100%. So I was like, Dead Reckoning Part 2, whether Ilsa's alive or dead, I'm like, it could make me like go even higher on this movie, which I really much loved. It's like it's great. But I still put it behind Fallout and Rogue Nation by a little bit.
Yeah, it's number 3 for me as well. Yeah,
I think Rogue Nation and Fallout are just like 5 out of 5 movies. They're just perfect action movies.
How do you rank them? Let's do this. How do you?
I do. It's 6. It's Fallout, followed by Rogue Nation, followed by Dead Reckoning, followed by Mission Impossible 3, followed by Ghost Protocol, followed by Mission Impossible 1, and then Mission Impossible 2. That's my least favorite.
Okay.
I'll go.
Yeah, you do.
I'll go from least favorite to favorite. I'll do MI2, MI3, MI1. What's the title? Rogue Nation. I will do this. Dead Reckoning Part 1, Ghost Protocol, and Fallout as number 1.
Interesting.
Fallout, Ghost Protocol, and then Dead Reckoning was your 3 as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're in agreement that Dead Reckoning is all number 3, but the order is different. I have Road Nation at 1, Fallout at 2, then Dead Reckoning, and MI3 at 4. I love that movie. Mission Impossible 1 at 5.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
Then Ghost Protocol, then MI2, which I haven't seen.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah.
9-hour long rock climbing sequence.
2 minutes. I'm with you, Josh, on Ghost Protocol. I mean, I love Ghost Protocol. It's one of the most
it's great. All these movies are great, but it's just
Ghost Protocol moves so well. I just like the team dynamic in 5 and 6 a little bit more, and 3 has that like.
3 has to see more often. It has like that emotion behind it with like the dynamic between him and Michelle Monaghan.
That first scene in 3 is just gnarly. Yeah. It's so good.
And the first movie is like really unique and like very stylized.
It's not even an action movie; it's just a thriller.
It's a thriller drama. Dead, damn it, dead.
But like Ghost Protocol still has like the Burj Khalifa sequence still on the best
one.
It's so good. It's one of the best for me. Yeah. I still wish I saw that movie in IMAX. I missed out.
Yeah.
What else, people?
We can talk about.
I have my first laud of the month was Nimona.
Oh, I saw that too.
Wait, was that June or July?
That was June, but I saw it in July.
Me too. Really good movie. Really,
I fucking love that movie, man.
The world
has so much heart behind it.
The world building is so charismatic, so like original, like
the performances by Chloe Grace Moretz, Riz Ahmed, Eugene Lee Yang, great performances.
This is the movie that Disney sold, right? That they didn't.
It was Blue Sky.
Okay.
Then they bought Fox and Blue Sky and shelved
Yeah.
Blue Sky, and this movie was in limbo until Netflix picked it up. Thank God.
Man.
Yeah,
And it's probably one of the most queer movies I've seen in recent times. Like queer, like mainstream, like animated films, and it's handles its queerness so well. And the allegories, the representation seen on screen.
The
Very
flashback
emotive.
sequence with Nimona. Oh, my
God.
god.
And the queen or whatever, or not the queen, the
Ancestor.
Director?
right? Yeah. Just oh my god, it's so good.
Yeah, that flashback sequence is so good because you think it's going in one direction. You know, it's like it's spoilers, right? Like
Yeah.
it's a cause of all this chaos and distrust between monsters and the real world.
Humans,
but it's just like you love the beginning of that friendship, but then it's just the tragic ending is so
the transition
raw.
at the end from
The
her
friendship.
holding the
Are you
sword.
saying they're not gal pals? Come on, it's more than that.
Yeah, well, yeah, like the transition is so beautiful, and
But
yeah,
it's gorgeous.
The animation's gorgeous. The chemistry between Riz Ahmed and Chloe Grace Moretz as like their voice cast was like, spectacular. The animation, the action
story
so
was
good.
really relevant and fresh and unique and fun.
For
sure. I'm probably in the minority, but I think I like this movie more than Spider-Verse.
Oh yeah, that's wrong. But
I'm crazy, but like I think
I'm kidding. Yeah, I agree.
It's very slightly above, but like they're both fantastic.
It's so fantastic. This year for animation is like God,
insane.
Like, it's so good.
And we still have I Still Need to See Moon Mayhem, and we still have Wish and Miyazaki's new movie, which is crazy.
Exactly. The Boy and His Dog, right?
Horrible title. How Do You Live was good.
How Do You Live was great. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you showing me? But I agree, Josh. I think Nimona is just a fantastic. It floored me when I watched it. Like it's so full of emotion. It has like the tropes, right? Like the gruff, not even the gruff, like the older like character with the younger daughter trope, but it flipped on his head in numerous different ways. Where like Riz Ahmed's Knight character is so skilled, but he doubts himself. He's also queer, so he's kind of like shunned in society in that way. But then he's also shunned in society in the whole like premise of the movie. They think he did a crime and everything like that. So I think the unique twist on every different character dynamic in this movie just makes it so much so fresh and unique and cool. And Nimona is such a chaotic but heartfelt character, like in the best of ways. Like I was so like breathless after watching this movie. It's so great. Just that whole final confrontation. It's like that's how you do like a big crazy like monster in the city trope, right? Like there's so much chaos going on, but it all comes like it's all built upon these dynamics between Nimona and the Knight, and just like him just holding her hand, the hug scene. I'm like, oh, so beautiful. It's so beautiful. Just the lighting, the sound design as well. I mean, just like the whole concept of the world. It's such a really cool, interesting, futuristic, fantastical design. Like it has like those Westworld like qualities to it with like the transportation, but also like fantastical knights and monsters and dragons and shape shifting. It's awesome. I love this movie.
It's essentially medieval queer Zootopia.
Medieval queer.
Yeah.
Futuristic as well. Yeah. But yeah, it handles those utopia themes about like, you know, people are different from us. Isn't that wrong? But it handles it in such a cool and great way. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. It's not just like I've seen it before.
And the ending is just very sweet. It kind of reminds me like, you know, like the ending of Monsters Inc. when you like when he goes visit the door.
Perfect. Yeah. Very good.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. Love that. Thank you. Great parallel there. So yeah, Josh, this must be very high on your 2023 rankings.
Well, I want to, because I was going to do last month, but we like ran out of time. But I want to at the end of this show all our Letterboxd list and see where we are for this year.
It should be, yeah. Okay.
But yeah, it's pretty high up for me.
Yeah. I'm like, should I raise it? I'd love to.
Real quick, I'm just gonna talk about this little movie that I'm more interested about it, like from the directorial standpoint because it's Riley Keough's first directorial debut on
Oh yeah, that's
War
right.
Pony. She directed it alongside Gina Gamel. I went to an early screening. There was like a Q&A after and all that stuff. But the movie itself is really good. The script is very good. I think my favorite thing about the whole like film is that how well it balances like different tones. Like it has like this very like cruel and like loomy like a tone to it, but it's also very funny, and it just like it kind of just like you just feel like you're living in the moment with these characters and the environment that they're living in. Um, it's like this indigenous, like kind of like modern movie in a sense. There's also like a sequence towards the end that I'm very curious. Like, hopefully one day Riley will someday do like a horror movie or something like that. Because like there's like the sequence outside of a Halloween party that's just very like disturbing and eerie, and like you don't really see what's going on, but you're listening to what's going on, and the way that is shot and just like frame and everything is just like very very like disturbing. So I really recommend watching the movie. It's probably one of my favorite movies of the year. I would say maybe top 20, if not barely missing the 20. But yeah, it's really good, and I can't wait to see what Riley does. Very interesting movie also for her to like make, because like
Exciting.
yeah, I wouldn't expect for somebody like with her background just want to tackle those kind of issues, but I'm glad that she did.
Yeah. Oh, you're muted, Evan.
I was like, is it streaming somewhere? But I already see it's on PVOD for $5. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it came out like on for Rent. I assume.
Yeah, VOD.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then after that, it's the Barbenheimer. But I don't know if you guys have anything else before we get to that.
Oh, I have a few more. Yeah.
Oh boy.
All right, give me 1 second.
No worries.
All right. So what? Do you have anything else, Evan?
I had this movie called Barbie. Yeah. No, I'm good. I'm waiting for you.
Really?
I mean, I have stuff after Barbenheimer.
Yeah.
Well, we did. I was thinking we saved Barbenheimer for last.
Okay. I mean,
all right.
I can jump
Works for me.
to one of my worst movies I've seen all year. Bird Box Bullshit Lona, Barcelona.
Oh,
what?
right. I forgot you saw this.
Bird Box Barcelona. I can't say that 5 times fast. This movie's trash, guys. It's bad.
You don't know
What
about
is
this?
this?
It's the Bird Box sequel with Diego Calva.
You
Who's
watched
hardly in
that?
it. Again,
What's going on with you this year? You're watching a lot of too many Netflix.
Well, I'm not.
I get it because it's Diego Calva. Like I want to watch.
Whenever I go over my parents' house or they come to my house, I'm like, let's watch a Netflix movie or whatever. Like, I can't show them like freaking the movies I watch.
Force.
That's torture for me. I was like, Bird Box 1 was a movie. It was fine.
Never saw it.
You're not missing much. But this one is just trash. It's bad. Like, the main character is really unlikable right from the beginning. I'm not going to say why. But then we follow the movie, and it's very weirdly structured.
The main character, it's the same girl from Barbarian, right?
Oh, is it?
Regina Campbell.
No way.
I think so.
Is it? You're right. That is her.
Yep.
I did not know that in the movie. I'm an idiot. I mean, everybody was speaking Spanish the whole time, so maybe I was like.
I mean, they also have their eyes covered.
Yeah,
that's true. Most of the time. I mean, there are a lot of scenes without their eyes covered, so I should have picked up on it. But like, I mean, yeah, she's not bad. People are solid here, but I just think character-wise, most of the characters are unlikable, very unintelligent. The world itself is. I already didn't like the concept in the first movie. People were loving the concept. I think the concept is very confusing and very illogical and very up to the whim of the writers about how the rules of the world works.
Very much trying too hard to be A Quiet Place.
And the reason I love A Quiet Place is like the structure that Krasinski created, not the structure, but the concept that Krasinski created is very fine-tuned. There's a limit to what you can do. There's a location where we can talk, can't talk, etc. The rules for that world are structured so well. The rules in this world make no sense. Like, who can open their eyes? It depends. Are you crazy?
Really?
You're not crazy. It's like, I'm like, how can you tell who can open their eyes or not? Like,
Wait, I thought no one could.
That's what you're supposed to happen. But in the last movie, they talked about, like, spoiler alert for Bird Box or whatever. In Bird Box, they get attacked by some people who can actually open their eyes because they've accepted the world or whatever. What does that mean? Who knows? So in this movie, they dive deeper into that. Like, there's a whole religious cult. That's the antagonist in this movie. The whole religious cult who accepts this world for what it is. And I'm like, oh, what does that mean for me? Like, I can't connect it to anybody in this world. The content is stupid. The characters are stupid. The structure of the movie, the sequence of events, stupid. It was just so hard to watch. But it was fun to laugh at because there's numerous characters doing dumb shit. Sound design is okay again. It's okay. The ending is pretty predictable. It's not good, Bob. It's not great, Bob. Yeah. That's about it. We could also talk about
Talk to Me.
Talk to Me.
Ooh, yeah.
Talk to Me is
Messed up.
fantastic. Messed up.
Demented as fuck.
It's wild. Like, I was the only guy leaning into their seats during the Riley sequence. Should we go to
You were
spoilers?
that meme of the person leaning up.
Yeah, that's me.
Leaning
That's
up.
me. I need to use that reaction.
Yeah, full on spoilers. If you
Full-on
haven't seen the
spoilers.
movie, you just can skip this part.
Oh, we're doing
I
spoilers.
need to talk about
We need to
this
talk about
movie.
spoilers.
I need to talk about this fucking
The
great
entire
movie.
turning point of the movie is a spoiler.
That ending is fucking immaculate.
Oh, one of the best endings ever. I was sitting in my seats. I was like, if this is how the movie ends, I'm clapping. And I was the only one that clapped. I was like, everybody else was like, oh, I'm like, there's no what does this mean? She's dead.
Obvious. It's obvious.
It's
I still
crazy.
don't know if she was pushed or she jumped. That's
I think she was pushed. I think
I
she was
watched,
pushed.
That's what I
I
thought.
watched Perry streaming back. Perry talking about the movie. I didn't even think about that, but I was like, oh, for me, I thought she just did it herself,
She jumped.
but not in terms of like saving, or because she's pushing Riley so she could, like, the monsters are telling her, like, push him so you could save him, that kind of thing. I think she just, like, was just off the deep end already and did it of her own volition.
I think the pushing one is really interesting because
The pushing one is also very interesting.
Yeah.
I like that a lot too. I can easily see that happening because
and there's that shot of like the hand on the chair, and then like I think the sister running, or she's like on the ground, and then you see the sister
Cradling,
holding Riley, right?
Yeah.
Wow, just phenomenal. She's going to the darkness. You see the light, and then you see the guy shaking the hand. I'm like,
So well done visually too.
It also, like, the fact that I like about the idea of her being pushed is, like, you have this very vulnerable main character, and the fact that she doesn't learn her lesson, she just ends up in this hell of a place.
Yeah.
I think that's it's much more interesting than if she just sacrifices herself at the end.
yeah, good point as well. Man, I mean, so many things to talk about. Like the acting is phenomenal.
The lead
across the
performance,
board.
I forgot her name, but she's
Me too.
incredible.
Something wild, I don't remember.
Yeah, are they all Australian? Right?
Olivia Wilde. though.
No.
Olivia Wilde in this?
You're close, Sophie Wilde.
Sophie Wilde. That's right.
Yeah, Sophie Wilde is great.
Joe
I haven't seen it.
Bird, who plays
Joe
Riley.
Bird.
My God.
Fantastic, great physical acting from
Yeah.
Sophie Wilde and Joe Bird there.
Like,
yeah,
I know that a lot of people are comparing this movie to, like, Hereditary, but I think the only thing that I would compare to Hereditary in this movie is that, like, performance from the child. Other than that, I would say
And the makeup too.
yeah. Other than that, I would say this is more kind of like Oculus than
Yeah,
Hereditary.
yeah, it is.
yeah.
But yeah, like,
I got your bodies vibe too, just from like the college party aesthetic.
like
as
the
well.
first act, yeah.
Because it turned, body is definitely the first act. Then the whole second act is just like a psychological debrief in the most uncomfortable of ways. It was so interesting to me because I'm watching this movie and I'm like, I love everything up to that, the whole Riley sequence. It's phenomenal storytelling. But then afterwards, there's a whole stretch of the movie where it's just like the main character, Mia, being a very, very uncomfortable. Where it's like she goes to the hospital to try. I'm like, what do you do? This is your fault, Mia. Don't go to the hospital. You don't deserve to be here. So, but like, like I felt so against Mia, but I also could feel for Mia. in the same way, which is like, I'm not hating this because even though like I sympathize with the mom, if I'm the mom, I'm like, don't talk to me. If I'm her best friend, if I'm Jade, I'm like, don't talk to me. Like I could put myself in these friends' shoes because I was so invested in their friendship, in their dynamics, that I could like so easily invest myself in being like, Mia, what are you doing? The mom's totally in the right here. Jade is totally in the right here. But at the same time, I can also sympathize at least a little bit for Mia for like
totally
why she allowed Riley to continue going into that state because she wanted to talk to her dead mom, who she has no closure over. So I love the whole second act of the movie. I can see why some people don't, but I like the whole second act because Mia is just like that's the degradation.
Seeing someone just fall like slowly or like rapidly and into like the. But possession, is that the right word? Like
it's like
influenced.
That influence, that degradation, like that mental, just that slowly mental decline that Mia's going through in the second act.
The desperation too. Speak with her mother.
It's marvelous to watch.
And finding out if her mother did kill herself or not.
Yeah, exactly. Because people are like, "Oh, did the dad do something?" Like somebody next to me was like, "The dad definitely." I'm like, "Nah, the dad didn't." The only bad thing he did the only bad thing he did was just not communicate with his daughter, which is also very understandable. Like you see this in a lot of horror movies where parents. This happened in Boogeyman, right? Where the dad's unable to communicate with his daughter. You see this a lot in a lot of movies. So I understood what he was going through. Your wife just died tragically. You weren't there to save her. So I understood where all these characters are coming from emotionally, but I can also feel for Mia emotionally as well, as somebody slowly becoming more and more possessed. I wouldn't do any of the things she does in this movie, but the movie does a good job of me understanding where she is coming from. And I just love a good descent to darkness. It's great to watch. It's great.
I also love how restrained the movie is sometimes because I feel like a worse movie would it would only focus like a one location movie. It would only be about the possession and something goes wrong, and that would be the entire movie. But this movie goes that little extra mile, and it kind of shows you the aftermath of that. But also, like another lesser movie would also show you like the creatures, the ghosts, the people, and this movie really doesn't. Like it's very restrained about.
Very restrained, yeah.
I think. Yeah, a little quick. Like, I would have liked Boogeyman probably a little bit more if it had a bit more restraint. But here, you're right, Edgar. Just like seeing those dead bodies was kind of like enough, and then hearing the voices in her head. The sound design also very good. So
that first scene with the hand, like the camera work, the 360 shot, like afterwards. Oh my fucking god, it's so good.
Fantastic.
Quick question, because you guys are gonna hate me, but. I think I probably missed like 5 minutes of this movie. So how does the movie start?
Oh,
it starts with the the guy they visit whose brother
in the bus. Yeah.
We see that scene.
That's the whole first 5 minutes. Where it's like he's at a party. Is it one shot, Josh? It's really well.
It's one shot. It's very good.
Where he's just asking his friends, "Hey, where's my brother? Where's my brother? Where's my brother?" Like, I think he's back here. Then he goes, knocks on the door. He's not answering. He pushes the door in. He goes see his brother. His brother's talking to himself.
Yeah.
And he has no hand. It's not like, you're not holding anything, but he's like Riley. He's still possessed. Okay. So then he picks his brother up. People are laughing at them. He's like, "Be quiet. I'm taking you home." But then his brother like loses it, stabs.
Well, before that, like the older brother, like, yells at the people for like recording them. And then while they happen, we see the younger brother enter their shot and like to stab him. Then stab his head.
And his brother like falls. I thought he died. I was like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah.
And then he just slits his throat, I think. You kind of cut out there for a second.
It's very much directly in there, not the throat.
In the head, you said?
Yeah.
Oh wow. So it's kind of like not like it's not fully shown, but it's shown silhouette wise.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that's a great one.
Also, another little detail about the movie that I like that I haven't seen the movie again, but I don't know if this is like on purpose or not, but I really like that when we see Mia get into that trance, get possessed for the first time, and the entity that is within her, like immediately focuses on Riley, and I feel like that's probably the same ghost or thing that goes into him later on.
Yeah.
I do love the subtext of the movie. Or you finish your point.
Oh no, I was just gonna say like the ghost within Mia probably like was able to detect her grief with her mom and then used it again when he went into Riley, and then this
Yeah.
like chain reaction basically. But go ahead.
I also like the subtext in the movie, like of this this generation having the necessity to film everything and like exploitate these ghosts with the hand, like for fun, for entertainment. I think that's really interesting.
Also,
Interesting things to
kind
go
of like
down.
addiction as well, kind of sort of.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
addiction to like always like have that instant gravitation.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
such a modern, well-told modern horror tale, right? Where it's like the influence of social media, of TikTok, and all that kind of stuff, where people are just like they think it's a joke, they think it's all like whatever, just it's going viral, it's crazy, right? Like this whole college thing. So I can see this franchise, this movie having legs. It's just it's so relatable, so like in touch with modern horror. It's so well told. I loved it.
Yeah.
And from one ghost to another, you want to talk about Haunted Mansion, Josh?
Oh God. Not really, but I will.
I mean, this movie.
Did you see it?
Yeah, I did. I think on the same date as you did. Real quick, everybody in this movie is solid with what they're given.
Performances are good. Lakeith Stanfield's surprisingly great. He has a
Yeah.
monologue that has
Baskin
blatant
Robbins.
product placement, but he sells it somehow.
Yeah.
But as someone who like obviously loves Disney parks, loves the Haunted Mansion ride, and it's fun seeing the little details and the nods to the ride and all the little Easter eggs and stuff. But I just think plot wise that the movie's a mess. And there's so many unnecessary aspects to the plot and to the whole story of it all. And I don't know, it's a mess.
One thing I kind of already like pointed out this on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. But Jamie Lee Curtis in this movie looks fucking weird. It looks like AI
Jamie Lee's in this
generated.
movie?
Yeah, she's the Madame Leota and like the crystal ball.
The crystal ball.
Okay. Yeah.
She looks fucking. Every time she moves, like her head or her mouth or anything, even her eyes, it just looks odd. It doesn't look
so weird. Like in human form, she's always looks human, but like in flashbacks and stuff. But in the ball, like I don't know why they went CG for it when you could have just shot like just like they did for the ride, just person actually acting and is use CG to touch it up, like put it to mask it and stuff.
Yeah, I don't know.
But like her head and the ball was completely CG, and it was fucking disturbing.
Yeah, I think
it's weird.
Like the way that people talk about like the aged Harrison Ford in Indy 5. That's how I'm gonna talk about this because it looks worse. It looks like it looks very distracting.
Wait, who is the aged?
Jamie Lee Curtis.
No. I mean like the way that people talk about the age Harrison Ford in Indy 5 is how I imagine myself talking about like Jamie Lee Curtis in this movie.
Yeah,
like the CG on her face because it's worse.
Wow.
But there's some good little like I mean these actors try their best with the material they're given for this movie. And I don't know, the directions I don't know, it's decent. It's not horrible.
I will say the ending is kind of like
it's
heartfelt, I guess. Like with the whole cat and the tater tots and that thing. Like it's good, but like I don't really feel like the movie earns it.
No, yeah. And like I'm sure you've seen social media, the product placement is like probably the most blatant I've seen since Transformers. Like really everything Tiffany Haddish uses in the movie it's a call out to where she bought it from, which makes no sense.
Why?
I bought this pen from CVS.
CVS. I brought this incense from Costco.
And then there's
I got
other
this
things.
scissor, whatever, from Amazon, or these candles from Amazon. Like it's so weird.
Amazon subscription or whatever. And then the little kid opens his like Marvel Monopoly game that he doesn't have anybody to play with. But he doesn't have anybody to play with.
It's weird, yeah.
But yeah.
But yeah, it's weird. Then like Lakeith Stanfield's monologue gets interrupted with a Baskin Robbins mention for some reason.
ADR edition. But yeah, this movie is just not very good. I'll give Justin Simien credit. He kind of like tries to do his best directing this. And I also give him
Yeah.
credit for making this movie essentially like making Jared Leto tricking tortured souls into joining his cult. So that's fine.
Yeah. That's
But
it.
yeah, the only other thing that I have is theater camp.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we can talk about that. Yeah, I had fun at theater camp. A little fun, sweet 90-minute movie. I thought it was very heartwarming. I thought Molly Gordon and Ben Platt were great. But the best part about the movie is arguably the young kids. I think they
Yeah,
were
they're really
just
good.
fantastic, great chemistry. They just brought a lot of heart to them. They are the heart and soul of the movie. Their genuine performances were just amazing to watch. There's one sweet moment that I loved between Ben Platt and one of the younger girls who kind of has to play the lead role in the play. And it was just a very good sequence. Overall, yeah, it's just a very sweet and charming movie. I had a fun time with it, and very funny. Like every other line is hilarious. I did not
And
expect it to be as funny as it was.
You cut off.
Frozen.
Yeah, you're a little bit frozen.
Am I good now?
Yeah,
You're good.
Okay. And my Letterboxd review for this movie, I put it's this decade's pop star, which is the highest compliment I can give it because it
Wow.
is genuinely the funniest movie of the decade so far, and literally almost every joke hits for me, and there's a lot of them. The performances are incredible. The story it's light, but I don't mind it as much. The Broadway or the performances of the theater are really like engaging and like
yeah.
honestly really good. And I just love this movie so fucking much. It's hysterical yet like incredibly earnest as well and heartfelt.
Yeah,
And
it does it does a
fantastic.
lot with just like 90 minutes also. And
Yeah.
like everybody kind of gets like an arc by the end.
One
AU
of the best documentaries for sure. I've seen.
yeah, AU Edery, she's barely in the movie, but my god, every time she pops up,
Every little reaction
magic.
she has is so good.
That
Yeah, Ben
entire
Platt,
every time
everything Molly Gordon does with the recorder is hilarious.
Mhm. Also Jimmy Tatro, I think is how you pronounce
Oh,
his name.
so good.
That scene, like the first session of auditions that they have, and they bring a kid and he starts singing, and then he just gets out of his seat. Everybody lost it. Like I'm honestly surprised. Like not only did I watch this movie in a packed theater, but everybody was so into the movie that I feel like that
Oh wow,
experience
Really?
made the movie better for me.
that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, I watched it. It was just like it was me and two other people, but like we were laughing so much.
Yeah.
Patty Harrison also is great as always. Caroline Aaron from Mrs. Maisel in this as well. Love that.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really good ensemble cast.
Yeah. Also Noah Galvin, who plays Glenn, and he
Oh,
has
so
like
good.
probably the best bit at the end in the play. So yeah.
Yeah.
In the end, the final play, like if we talk
It's
about like,
genuinely really good.
it's not only is it good, but like really hope they don't ignore the song at the end, the very last song, because it's so stupid, but it's so funny and it's so
Yeah.
charming. I hope it gets a nom.
All of the above. Like I love that song.
Yeah.
Like I was
Wall
jamming
Street
to this
Noise is a bop. It's so
song.
good.
It was good. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of the music here was just
Love
very
that movie
smart.
so much. The
really
movie
hope
is
they
out on
give,
or the music is out on streaming too, which I love.
Yeah, I really hope whatever Molly Gordon is doing next with either by herself or her co-director, I'm there. Opening
If
night.
we want to do a little segue, since we haven't talked about it yet, will Molly Gordon, Ayo Edebiri segue into The Bear season 2?
We're gonna talk about it.
Yeah, we were going to do another video, but we got busy. So let's just talk about it now if you guys are down.
Yeah, sure.
I watched it twice this month, so I'm on 3 watches right now. It is. It's a short watch.
Gosh.
It's
There's a ton of new shows
short,
on
and it's
TV.
fucking incredible, Evan. It's one of my favorite seasons of television ever made.
Ever made.
It's so unique. It gives me those feels, and it's incredible.
How do you follow that? I mean, yeah.
It's
I
so
watched
good.
it once. I thought it was fine. I'm kidding. I love this season. I thought it was fantastic. You know, when season 1 ended, I was like, does there need to be a season 2?
I thought that too. I was like, we don't need a season 2. Then I was so fucking wrong.
Right? Because I'm like, you know, ironically, I thought that Carmi had conquered the beast, but I was kind of incorrect mythologically. It's like he was reforming his trauma, right? Like the bear, like the center of all his like trauma and his past difficulties with his brother, and you reformed it into the beef. But that doesn't mean he's still like out of the jungle per se.
He's
right?
to reinvent himself now.
He's still in the reinventing phase, exactly, of it, both himself and the restaurant, of course. Like the restaurant reinventing is kind of like
and
symbolic
Sid
of,
too as well.
and
It's
Sid,
also
yeah. Like the restaurant reinventing, kind of like the same thing that all of these characters are now doing in this season.
needing for themselves. Yeah.
Where Sid and
Especially
cousin
Richie.
Richie, Sid, Richie, the black guy, I forget his name, Marcus. They're all reinventing themselves in positive and like progressive ways. Meanwhile,
Tina too. Like,
Tina's doing good.
Her growth this whole series so far, right? Her art is fucking beautiful.
Yeah, her art was amazing. But meanwhile, Carmi is sitting there and he's going up with his relationship with Molly Gordon's character. Claire, great character, great actress, fantastic. It's going up, but then it goes down, or it's just like it's such a tragic fall from where he's going, where you think he's going in the middle of the season. But it kind of tracks, especially after watching episode 6 and seeing the unfortunate circumstances with his mother. You kind of like can see when Richie calls him out in the finale, saying you're acting just like your mom. Where these are two characters who are unwilling to, in different ways, of course, because they're both going through two different kinds of mental difficulties. But they're both characters that are unwilling to accept the love that they have, and they don't feel like they deserve the love that they have. Like, for example, the mom sitting outside in the cold, in like this, and it's so well shot too, because like the inside of the restaurant in the finale is so warm and cozy looking. Meanwhile, she's freezing outside. She's like, it's all blue. It's very sad, and she's talking to the husband. I forget his name now.
What's his name?
I don't know.
I
watched it 3 times.
He's not in it as much. Give me a break.
I'm just kidding. But yeah, it's a great scene because he's crying. It's one of the most emotional scenes of the show. I feel so bad for him. But she's just exemplifying how she's unwilling, even though like a lot of the characters have moved on, she's unwilling to feel like she deserves the love that the daughter and Carmi have shown to themselves, into her, into the restaurant as a whole.
Pete.
Exactly. Pete. I knew it started with a P. I was like, Philip P. Okay. But yeah, she feels like she can't deserve that love anymore. She walks away. And then Carmi is also just like, oh my God, just a downward progression where he feels like he made a mistake, and like getting attachments, as in Claire, is ruining his attachment to the job, to the bear.
Because you have these separate forces weighing in. Like you have cousin Richie and Fact. Like, hey, this is a good thing for you. Like you need to pursue this. Then you have Uncle Jimmy, Oliver Platt's character, have like come in and like, hey, nephew, I would say this with as much love and respect. Like after he tells him like he's dating someone, I say this with as much love and respect. Uh-oh.
Yeah. Yeah. So good.
Oliver Platt in the show, incredible.
Peak. It is a great character. Great character.
I also find it hilarious that he's in the 2 best pieces of media related to chefs, this and Chef.
Oh yeah, he is in Chef.
He's the critic in Chef.
He's a critic, yeah. He's great in Chef. Still not better than Top Chef. Just kidding. But yeah, just Carmi unleashing on Richie, who has ironically risen above him, at least in a progressive way in terms of the character arcs. And he's just humiliating himself in front of Claire, saying, I shouldn't have been with Claire. I made a mistake and all this kind of stuff. And it's so awful to hear Claire like hear all this stuff about him. It was such an unfortunate scene. But I just love that finale so much because it makes me yearn for his growth in season 3, like that eventual growth that we all know is coming.
Yeah, and it also feels like he has to like play catch up. Like he's staying behind because everybody in season 1 was like at such odds with each other, and by the end of season 2, everybody's kind of like, it almost feels like an orchestra, like they're all like working together except him,
Except him.
except the person that's supposed to be leading them, and it just feels so freaking like so tragic for his character. Like, I know that it's kind of like a joke on social media that he's like our new Kendall Roy after Kendall it has been gone from Succession, but like he kind of really is. Like,
Kendall wishes he was in the state of that car. But yeah, you're right, Edgar. Whereas like the he's like the odd chord out per se. Whereas like everybody else is in such a great harmony, and they're all working through their own struggles and coming out the other end in such heartwarming fashion. Meanwhile, Carmi is here and just struggling internally. Because again, he doesn't feel like he can handle so much love and acceptance at the same time, and he's struggling with that combination where he's like, he created the beef, he's proud of the beef, but he's unable to mentally like accept what he's creating with the beef on top of his personal life. He feel like he should just mail to his personal life instead of just getting with his instead of the bear.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's so heart wrenching to watch, because you're like, dude, you can't have both. Like Miles Morales, you can do both. Like you can do both, but he still hasn't mentally accepted that. Similar to his mom, where she's like, she's unaware that people do love her, that people do like her, that she can, rise above. But again, her mom is going through something completely different than what Carmen's going through. Just the idea of love and how they handle love is what's connecting those two characters. But yeah, it's just all around fantastic series. Richie, of course, had my favorite episode of the season, episode 7. Not the biggest Taylor Swift fan, but even I was like,
it's a great serotonin.
It's a great song. It's a great ending. I was just 4 a.m. just like, yeah, love story. It's great. It was amazing.
I think like you guys do me shit for rewatching this a lot, but I think it's a really good show to rewatch because one, it's short and runs around time. 2, each episode is different, so you get to like unpack it more with each watch. And I picked up on so many more details with these rewatches too. Like there's so many little hints and like this like little bits thrown in like at the start of the series that foreshadow things that come later in the series.
Yeah, just the idea of Carmi not being able to be there for Sid is laid in the groundwork so early on by just a few short lines from Sydney's father. It's like, okay, cool. I like where you're going, but is he going to be there for you? And she's like, well, yeah. I love Ayo's acting. She's amazing in this season. Her stocks are rising just for, it's crazy. The Emmys are probably going to come out in January at this point. Oh my God. But I think
she's having a hell of a year too. Wait, this
stock,
camp,
this
Mayhem,
TMNT, big time. No, I'm about to say she's in Across the Spider-Verse, but she's not. But
she is, I think. Yeah.
Is she in Spider-Verse?
I forgot what she was on.
Yeah, she's Glory.
Who?
It just says Glory here on the cast list
for Spider-Verse.
Across the Spider-Verse.
Is she the one who's the?
I think
the
you're thinking of the
one who's no.
That's the Acolyte star. Bodies. What's her name? That's the lead actress from Bodies. That's the girl from Across the Spider-Verse.
Interesting.
But yeah, either way, I was great. Can't wait for Bodies. Can't wait for Bottoms.
I think it's funny that the show, like, it's not,
that's right.
Like, the show is not so different in terms of tone as Succession, but this qualifies as a comedy at the Emmys.
It's because I did it. It's a 30-minute comedy.
It's a hilarious show.
I mean, it's funny, but
it reminds me of how the best comedies are able to switch up the genre.
They should just call it best dramedy at this point. Like most of them are dramedies, except Abbott.
Yeah, it's hard to juggle that. But yeah, I get why it's a comedy because it's a very fast-paced. Even though season 1 is more of a comedy than this one. But like, it reminded me of Barry, right? The Barry turns into a drama.
Yeah.
Like the Bear, Atlanta did that as well. It's like such great comedy.
Miss Maisel is obviously a comedy, but it has very much dramatic moments.
I think that's the evolution of comedies in the modern era.
Most of them are dramedies at this point.
After your first season, you get your comedic jibes in there, but then it gets progressively more dramatic as the characters start to evolve. So The Bear, Barry, Atlanta, as you said, Miss Maisel. So it's a common occurrence. Not every show can be like Abbott.
Before we move on, I want to say like this show's use of music is fucking bar none like one of the best uses or best like consistent uses of music supervision. Like the montages in this are so good, and the music choices are perfect. Like the one with Sid eating around Chicago with the flashes of like the pasta dish she wants to make.
You're gonna make me hungry.
Cinema.
Yeah, great.
And like the ending one with the REO Speedwagon song, so good. It's just, I love the show so much.
Me too.
All right.
What's next?
Are we ready for Barbenheimer?
I have a couple of rapid fire things I could get to.
Rapid fire.
Give me 1 second. I'm doing timestamps for the first time for this episode, so to me.
Holy shit. New month, new Josh. What is going on here?
Yeah.
It's a scroll, I'm telling you.
It's a scroll. You could talk about Secret Invasion if you were
Oh yeah. Let's just touch upon it. Like it's bad.
Not great. Like I thought the finale, I was like, that was okay, whatever. But then I was talking to Josh about it like at 4 a.m. I'm like,
the finale is so
I'm liking it less and less. It's so frustrating because I'm like, there's a good show in there. Like Nick Fury's arc is like the only serviceable thing in the show. And yeah, I understand it's supposed to be.
And even that's like kind of half baked.
It's kind of half baked, but his dialogue with his wife, some of the best stuff in the show. Like the dialogue within like Nick Fury and his wife, Nick Fury and Talos. It's like some of the dialogue,
the performances and the dialogue writing, like with between two people, is fucking great. It's really good for a Marvel show, yeah.
But then
everything else is like such a mess.
Trash. I'm shocked. Like building up, I was like, Kingsley Ben-Adir. Amazing in the show. He's so
good.
Spoilers?
Does anyone care?
Nobody cares. Nobody watched it.
I do.
Spoiler.
I haven't even seen it, and I don't care. Go for it.
Are you sure?
Did you watch the first episode?
I only watched the first episode. That's it.
Okay. Because like Kingsley Ben-Adir's character, the whole show, they're building up a confrontation between Gravik, who is Kingsley Ben-Adir's character, and Fury. Fury had some like unsolved issues with Gravik, kind of like he deems it as his own failure. That's basically why he came down to Earth in the first place. So
you're going to do a tweet out of this.
And Kingsley, a great actor. The show's building up to this confrontation. We get to the finale. They walk in. They start talking. I'm like, okay, start to cook. Okay.
Yeah. It's a good scene.
It's
good
monologue.
It's a good scene.
I agree. And then they bullshit us by saying, "Oh, it's not Fury. It's actually
the whole time."
Clark the whole time.
It's who?
Emilia Clarke.
Emilia Clarke.
Okay.
In the finale, at least, not the whole show, but in the finale, that whole big conversation, the whole dialogue, it's just ruined because it's now just Emilia Clarke.
It makes no sense.
Who has no connection to Gravik. Gravik killed. Spoiler: Gravik killed Talos and his mom and her mom.
Yeah.
So
I guess connection, but like it's not the same as Fury. And she would like. Did Fury just sit her down and tell her everything that happened between him and Gravik? Like
I guess off screen, that would have been a cool scene to watch. But they don't want to. They want to surprise us because it's Marvel, right?
So you're telling me that this is Kevin Feige's Andor?
Yeah,
he wishes.
He wishes. But yeah, and then we get the stupid fighting the sky gray bullshit
so fucking bad
between Gravik and Emilia Clarke's character Gaia.
People were complaining about the WandaVision ending with that fight. That looks like fucking Mission Impossible shit compared to this.
Yeah, for sure, 1000%. No finale is worse than this finale. Even the Moon Knight, I'm like, really, the two big.
Even Falcon Winter Soldier, I could drive Grice with it, but there's still bits I love.
Exactly, for sure.
Yeah.
I thought Falcon Winter Soldier was the worst before this show. But yeah, this show is easily the worst. Yeah, because then like we get a fight in the sky, and then they just kill off Gravik. She like impales him, and I'm like.
Suddenly, like what?
That's it. Gravik had so much potential. I was like, okay, Kingsley Ben-Adir, he's cooking. I mean, Edgar, I tell you, every scene that Kingsley was in, he cooked. He was great. I thought he was fantastic in all his scenes.
Great summer for him.
There was a great summer. There's one scene in episode 2, I think, just like a council of scrolls or whatever, and he just called them all out, just cementing his plan. I'm like, okay.
You're
But
cooking
then-
here. Yeah.
I see we're cooking here. But then, of course, the show is riddled with bad pacing. Bad pacing, a lot of plot points that just
Messy
aren't as
politics too,
messy
especially in the ending. Like,
politics.
what
Also,
the fuck? Okay,
Yeah,
let me
like-
rant real quick. The
Yeah, please,
president's
please.
decision, like, Fury was with this man literally an hour ago. How the fuck did that happen?
It made no.
what decision?
So the president, okay, Fury saves the president from the hospital. Like, he was obviously you don't know this. He was
Yeah.
injured in a car crash by Gravit and this girl, rebels, I guess, trying to kill him, an assassination attempt. He was injured. That's where Talos dies. Very bad. Again, very bad death, I think. Very, like, you talked about Ilsa Faust's non-sequential death. This is even worse than that.
Oh yeah, Talos. I was shocked. I was like, dang, I like Talos. He was a great character.
Best part of the show, I thought.
I agree. Again, that the dynamic between Talos and Fury, they had some great one-on-ones. They had some awesome one-on-ones. I just loved and appreciated.
Writing there was great. Happened to like the plot, right? I don't know.
Yeah. The
But yeah, so
writing
that
between
happened.
individual
Edgar,
characters is good. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. So the president had an assassination attempt on him. He was God, this is a mess. He was in the hospital. Don Cheadle, Rhodey, who was watching over him. Turns out he's a Skrull, and the most fucking stupid reveal ever. That's a Skrull since Civil War, which made no sense.
If that's true, Feige, you have the power here. No, that was the director's intent, but the director is the director. It's Feige's decision to control.
It's so stupid.
Feige can easily say in Armor Wars, "Oh no, it was since Endgame," because it makes no sense to character assassinate Rhodey.
See, I think in Armor Wars it could be interesting to see the real Rhodey grapple with like one Tony dying, one the snap happening, one like all this shit happening. But seeing him grapple with that would be really interesting.
It could be.
Okay,
but
back to the main point. That happens. He's in the hospital. Guy, Amelia Clark's character, does the whole cover up, pretend she's a Fury, with the whole Gravit conversation. While that's happening, Fury's in the hospital with Olivia Colman trying to rescue the president. That happens. They rescue the president. Then when we cut to the next scene, the president making a rant on national TV about we need to kill and hunt down all these illegal immigrants, basically all these Skrulls. And like it's literally like Fury was with this man literally hours ago.
Saved his life.
That happened. How did Fury let this happen? Like I don't know.
It's so weird because the whole premise of the show is two things, right? Like Fury failing to adequately solve the Skrull issue. I'm like, that's a decent plot point. Like that's why he came into Earth. He felt like he personally was
that did not happen at all. It made it worse.
And then for the show to end on him failing, making it worse, and then saying like, "Well,
dipping out,"
and then saying, "Well, we got a job to do for the next."
Gotta go to the Marvels
or movie. Gotta go see the Marvels or
gotta know about the sword.
Even the Marvels isn't even going to touch this plot point.
They're never going to come back to this again.
We see the trailer for the Marvels. The Marvels isn't going to have anything to do with Skrulls. It's about
maybe the only thing we might see this in is Captain America 4, but even that I'm hesitant. There will probably be some variation, but not even like the same thing because it's so inconsistent.
From the sounds of it, how you guys are describing it, I think it's funny that their worst review show is probably the one that's gonna affect plot points in their movies more so than anything else. Because I mean, Rhodey being a Skrull is kind of a big deal, and you revealed it in a show that nobody watched.
That's true. That's true because like Armor Wars was now confirmed last year as a movie instead of a TV show, which is even worse. I mean, I like that it's a movie.
You have a little time.
I like it. It's a
more budget, which is great. But
yeah, I like the movie. But now that we know the story,
I guess these shows don't fucking give a shit about telling stories and as more screen time. They said they tell less of a story in an 8-hour show or 6-hour show than they do in a 2-hour movie. Like,
great point. Yeah, but the whole Rhodey decision just made no sense to me. But now if you're trying to put in a movie so that nobody watched, like how do you market that?
Because like, has so much to tackle now.
Even like with something like Miss Marvel or Moon Knight, like you can always reintroduce those characters in a future film, like they're gonna do in the Marvels.
Exactly.
But like, how do
I-
you
I think
introduce
Miss
this
Marvel
idea?
and WandaVision, like that whole thing with Monica Rambeau, that's the best interconnectivity we've seen thus
Yeah,
far with the Marvels coming out. Like that,
and
I think
also
that's a
because
win.
it was their first show and everybody actually watched it.
Yeah, every
Yeah,
watched it, and
and-
yeah,
in,
totally.
in both ways, like if for Monica Rambeau, if you didn't watch WandaVision, you're not going to be lost in the Marvels. It's like
No,
this
she
is
was in Captain Marvel.
She's in
Yeah,
Captain Marvel. It's a grown-up character. Boom. That's it. That's all you really need to know. You don't need to watch Miss Marvel or the WandaVision for anything.
I mean, you kind of need to watch Miss Marvel though.
I mean, you do have to watch it for
what?
Doctor
For the
Strange.
family and
For Doctor Strange and the worst multiverse of madness. Anyway, anyways,
No, I meant Miss Marvel. You kind of need to
Like-
watch it for the Marvels.
kind of, but like if you never seen Miss Marvel, like this is a brand new character who
Yeah,
the
to
show.
be determined. We haven't
The,
seen
the
it.
movie,
Yeah.
I feel like the movie's going to do an adequate job explaining.
I'm
yeah,
excited for the Marvels. It looks
Me
good.
too.
The
It looks
trailers
really
are
good.
great. Yeah,
Nia DaCosta is going to rock. I love Candyman. I think she's.
but the
gonna be good.
chances of that movie addressing anything in the show are like 1%. Very
And
slim.
it doesn't need to, but why does why are there so many lingering threads in a TV show?
Why do you have to set
Just
up Fury
end your
going to
TV
space and
show.
this? Yeah,
Yeah,
it's so frustrating.
don't give me
Josh.
lingering. Like Miss Marvel didn't have it had a post credit scene of like the Marvels, but it wasn't like contingent upon enjoying the Miss Marvel TV series. Like Miss Marvel as a TV series had a solid ending. WandaVision, solid ending. Like a lot of these shows had pretty solid endings that could help in the movies, like help give you context. But this one is just like it's unsatisfying from a TV perspective, and it's going to make it unsatisfying from a movie perspective. So it's doing two wrong things at once. Again, I feel like the show just didn't really conclude Fury's arc with the scrolls that
It
well.
left more questions unanswered than it did coming in.
I'm like, again, Marvel just created a satisfying TV series. That's why I love Miss Marvel. I think
Loki and WandaVision, I think they're
Loki,
only ones for me so
WandaVision.
far.
I think Miss Marvel is
Like that Yellow
Kamala.
ending.
Kamala's arc.
Yeah, Miss Marvel's up there
It's
too.
pretty concluded. Like there wasn't anything that she was like, oh, I can't wait for the Marvels coming out. Like
I think the whole like villain character that was kind of mishandled.
that was kind of
Not
mishandled.
my favorite.
Exactly. Yeah, I didn't
Ending
love that.
was cool. Yeah.
I actually I do love the finale for Miss Marvel because it was so self-contained. Like
Mhm.
like instead of this whole
That's why I love the first two Ant-Man movies, man. They're
Yeah.
so self-contained. They're fun.
instead of like fighting in the sky that happens a
What?
lot.
I'm not wrong.
I mean, I don't love Ant-Man too. But like
I mean, that's
instead
fair,
of
but
fighting in the
still
sky,
fun.
Miss Marvel was all about like, hey, they're just fighting FBI in a school. I liked how self-contained it was. And then Loki, of course, it's a lot of talking
It's
but
big, but
I
it's
liked it.
self-contained in a sense because
Within
it's
the
very
show,
much
exactly.
away from everything else. Yeah.
WandaVision also was like just fighting in the sky, yeah, but like it had some emotional moments and it solved her arc within the show. Don't do any lingering bullshit. So yeah, Marvel's still struggling to create compelling TV. They're not all bad. Like I like Miss Marvel, I like Loki, I like WandaVision.
Loki is the one so far, I think, to like really nail it for me.
Loki's like perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, the rest of them have been strong, perfect, and then you just have Falcon and Winter Soldier, which was pretty disappointing. Secret Invasion, disappointing. Moon Knight was good in certain episodes, but then overall pretty disappointing for me at least.
I think the first two episodes are fun, but like, and the little twist that happens halfway that actually didn't really happen, it kind of
I
frustrated me.
think that one Mindscape episode where he's in his head going through his memories.
That was
pretty
great.
good.
I wish they had stuck with it though.
Exactly right. It was so inconsistent.
Yeah.
Moon Knight. So yeah, overall just all over the place. Anything else?
Yeah, just
Oppenheimer?
let me. I have a few of them.
How many quick fires you got?
I saw a lot. Give me a break. Okay, 1 second.
I can talk about they clone Tyrone real quick before you get your.
Oh yes, I still need to watch that.
Really good movie. I don't know how the fuck Hollywood didn't make John Boyega an A-lister after Star Wars because he's so
Pacific Rim
freaking
too?
good. Well, yeah, that's it. but this movie is just so freaking good. Jamie Foxx is so charismatic as always.
Jamie's the goat.
Yeah, he's the good. And best wishes to him with his condition.
Wait, what happened to him?
I think he's doing fine. He
Yeah.
had like a heart injury, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
Over the early, but he's fine. He came
Yeah.
out with some statements.
Also, speaking of the Marvels and all of that, Teyonah Parris is in this movie. She's great.
Oh.
The entire concept of the movie is just very fun. I don't know. I wouldn't really say it's the same vibe, but like kind of reminds me of like that very like cookie kind of like out there concept of something like maybe like White Noise or what was that movie with the fucking horses people with the keys
What?
Oh,
Oh,
I hated that movie. What was
You
that
hated it?
called? I did not like that movie.
it's all right. What was it called?
Uh,
Sorry to bother you.
there you go. Yeah.
I had
But,
a great song that
yeah.
I need to watch his follow up, the series that just came out. Boots Riley,
Yeah.
I'm a Virgo, just came out. I need to watch that.
Yeah, but anyway, like it kind of reminds me of like that kind of vibe. But like I'm also with you, Evan. I don't really like the movie, but I think this Tyrone, I think does a better job executing that kind of idea, and the soundtrack is very good. So yeah, definitely a win.
Definitely on my
for-
list.
Yeah, definitely a win for Netflix. Finally.
Yeah, what was the last great Netflix movie? I mean, I like Distraction too. That was fun. But yeah, I really should watch
Glass Onion, maybe. I don't know.
Glass Onion was very good. Yeah, that's
They
right.
have some banners. Come on, White Noise was good.
White Noise is good.
All their award stuff is usually good. Nimona, obviously.
Nimona.
Oh yeah, yeah. Thank God Netflix took that. Disney scrapped it, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, Josh, what's your rapid
what's
fire?
your quick fire?
All right. Little rapid fire. I watched Infinity Pool. Had a blast with it. It was
Really
a fun
good.
time. Mia Goth is chaotic as fuck and great. And I think Alexander Skarsgård was one of the best physical actors we have right now.
Mhm.
And the sheer physicality he brings to every role he has, like Northman here, Big Little Lies, even like he's great.
Even Succession, like he's like
Yeah.
like, you know.
Yeah, she's so swarmy.
Yeah.
I think it kind of loses itself in the third act, personally, but I think it's still a blast to watch.
Yeah.
And it's just a nightmare of a film. It's fun.
You will never catch me watching that.
What else? I did a little Greta Gerwig watch through before Barbie. I watched Mistress America, which was Noah Baumbach's film that he wrote with her in 2015. It's like it's basically similar to Frances Ha, like this woman who's very lost and trying to find herself, and very much like struggling to grasp so many different things in her life, and it's fun. And did rewatch Frances Ha. That film goes even harder on a rewatch once you get a little older and start to relate more to that film. It's great.
I've never seen that. Yes, always.
You should watch it. It's really beautiful.
Is Adam Driver in that one?
He is. Yes,
Yeah.
He's great. It's obviously Noah Baumbach directed that again, co-written by Greta Gerwig as well. I watched 20th Century Woman, a Mike Mills film, starring Greta Gerwig. Annette Bening, Greta Gerwig, Elle Fanning, Billy Crudup, who's great in it.
Oh, love me some Billy Crudup.
Yeah. He's like Mike Mills. He also did Come On, Come On a couple years ago, which I loved. And he's such an important filmmaker we have right now. His narratives are almost like documentarian, kind of like just really authentic and raw and intimate.
Okay.
And they're also really personal and filled with so much life, and I love that about them. So I would definitely recommend 20th Century Women. Very fantastic film.
Yeah, that was 2017, I think.
2016, yeah.
2016, yeah.
Then rewatch Waybird, fantastic. Rewatch Little Women, can't say enough about it.
I did too.
Yeah,
Little Women, great. Oh, that scene between Anne and Timothy Chalamet character, Timothy and Florence Pugh, when he comes to see her in England, I think.
I've watched Little Women so many times, but I think that this was the one that finally put it in my top 4 on Letterboxd. I just love that movie so much.
It's beautiful, perfection.
I chose one Nolan film to watch for Oppenheimer. It was The Prestige.
And you chose
The Prestige.
Let's go!
I chose one too, and it was Dunkirk.
What?
Hey, gotta be on the war mentality. that
Yeah,
setting.
fair.
Sure. So, Josh, what do you think?
I mean, I've watched it before, but it's just a rewatch. It's this pure cinematic magic, man. It is unreal how good that movie is.
It's so good. Jalen watched that on the plane over this past weekend. He was like, "Oh my gosh, Evan, you're right." I'm like, "This is peak Nolan." It was my favorite Nolan film before Oppenheimer. I love.
It's still. I think I like Interstellar more, but it's number 2 for me. It's really a toss up. Like any day, I could pick one or two, or that or Interstellar. Honestly,
I need to watch Interstellar again. I'm still not on the love Interstellar train yet.
Yeah,
but
I think it's still Hugh Jackman's best. It's still Christian Bale's best. I think.
Oh, that's hard.
It's hard. They do a lot, but I think it honestly is. I mean, Prisoners for Hugh Jackman is also kind of my daughter.
Yeah. It's great. Yeah, I think I go Prisoners for Hugh's best. Prisoners or Logan, but yeah, Hugh was so fucking excellent in Prestige.
Yeah.
That ending, top 5 endings of all time for me.
So
just
good.
Peak. Just great. Just amazing.
And I noticed all the time the score was really good too. Like it's very melodramatic, and I don't know, it's some random.
Is it random guy? I thought it was familiar. But I remember the score being good as well.
That's really good.
But yeah, Prestige.
David
such a great acting. Scarlett Johansson's really good in this as well. David Julian. Okay. But like we have Tesla. Rebecca Hall. Tesla.
David Bowie as Tesla is so good. Yeah.
Great.
And Andy Serkis as his little freak sidekick.
Yeah. It gets so deliciously supernatural and crazy in the second and third act. And then, man, it just brings it all down to earth in that final ending. It's just, so good, so heartbreaking, so emotional. It's one of the most emotionally affecting Nolan movies next to Oppenheimer now for me. It's just, it works on so many levels. The rewatchability of Prestige is so good. You learn new things every time. Great movie.
Yeah. I also watched this little film. It's, I don't know if you've heard of it. It's the Mark Duplass. No. Sarah Paulson and Stone Blue Jay. It was on Netflix. I was like, this looks interesting.
How you spell it? Tar Blue?
Blue Jay, like the bird.
Oh, Blue Jay.
Yeah. It's magical. It's very much before sunset like vibes. It's very like a romantic comedy. These two past high school sweethearts who like something happened in their lives, that split them, and they like live their lives separately. Then decades later, they see each other again in a grocery store and catch up, and that's what the movie's about. Is them catching up and reliving those memories. And
what is this, the Bear season 2? What? Getting caught up in the grocery store?
It's so good, and it's like the chemistry between Mark Duplass and Sarah Paulson is incredible, and I recommend it for you, Evan. It's on Netflix. It's a good 80-minute watch.
Definitely yeah. Good romance drama. I like it. I'm gonna put it on my list right now.
Yeah. And I don't know where Edgar is, but
oh, now you're ready.
No. I have another film that I watched, Cobweb.
Oh, did Edgar see this as well?
Did you hear about this? I don't think he saw that.
This is a horror movie, right?
It's a horror movie that Lionsgate has that they put out for some fucking reason during Barbenheimer weekend.
Oh, it
should have been. It's in theaters. Yeah, it's a theatrical release. But like, there was like one screening that I like worked out for me that before, like the next day it was leaving theaters or something, or was like having dramatically reduced show times.
This thing's gone.
It's gone now. Yeah. I stumbled on it. It's fun. It's a blast.
Oh, it's a fun horror movie.
It's okay. Here's the thing. It's like for the first 2 acts is very like first half of the movie basically. It's very like methodical, very atmospheric horror, and it's done really well. But then it takes like a blended-esque twist in the third act that's really fun. And it becomes this like weird creature, goofy, like campy horror movie that's really fun.
So this is the one with Anthony Starr from The Boys, right?
Anthony Starr, Lizzie Kaplan, Woody Norman from Come On, who's incredible.
Okay, yeah, I gotta watch this.
It's a fun movie. It's like the performances are great. There's some good moments in there, really well done, really well shot movie. It's like it's just a good small horror flick, and I don't know why they didn't put it out in October when they could have had a good release probably.
Or like early August, like Talk to Me.
Yeah.
Like, just come out a little bit later.
But they put it out during Barbenheimer, which is so stupid.
Super sad. Yeah, not good.
But yeah, if you see this movie on streaming or on Vibe, definitely recommend it.
Cool.
I think that's it. Oh no, sorry, one more. I think Edgar's seen this though, so we should talk about this. Reality. I watched Reality.
Oh yeah, Sydney Sweeney.
Yeah, HBO. Sydney Sweeney. Fucking devastating movie.
Yep. It is very hard to watch.
Harrowing, yeah.
Also,
I don't want to say too much because I went into it blind, and I think that's a good way to watch it.
Yeah, I think like it might be
maddening.
I think it might be, other than maybe Oppenheimer, I think it might be the best movie that just grips you from like a character and dialogue standpoint, because the movie is just like people talking in
and there's so very different movies too, but like, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, and like Sydney Sweeney, like she's been great in everything that I've seen her in, like Euphoria, White Lotus, but in this movie, like the level of anxiety that you can see in her eyes, even if she's not like panicking or anything, but you can tell that she's hiding that
there's that anxiety. Like, it's just blooming over the whole movie from the first shot. Yeah.
And then when it finally explodes towards the end, again, not really going into more spoilers, but like once she just like lets it out, like it's just like devastating, because you already kind of where this is going, where this is gonna end.
Yeah, and something really interesting about this movie is that like it takes its dialogue is entirely from a transcript of a recording that happened for this event in real life. Like this is all real. The dialogue is entirely from that recording, and it's so effective and so interesting. The way they cut to like the audio recording and the actual script of it, like during some moments, and where they pour out some things, it's really cool. Like stylistically, it's a really well directed movie too.
Yeah, who directed it? I
don't know. I think it's a debut feature. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, Tina Satter.
Yeah, really well done.
Damn, first time writing, first time directing, producing, anything.
Only credit that I've seen. Yeah, so good.
But yeah, definitely check it out.
It's 80 minutes too. It's a short little watch, but it's a very heavy watch.
Yeah, it feels longer than it is, but I mean that in a good
purposeful way.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, I have to check it out. It's been on my watch list on Max for the longest, for the whole year. So yeah.
Okay. One more thing. This is a Twitter thing. I saw Babylon in 70mm, and it was perfection.
Did it get better?
It got so much better. It was so good. Seeing that film on film, like on a projector, is a great experience. So good.
On screen, in front of people, in a theater.
Yeah. A theater that actually cared about the movie. Like when it came out.
Was it packed?
It was pretty packed. Yeah, it was nice.
Josh and his friends.
No. Did I buy tickets for everyone? Maybe was I influenced?
Pay it forward.
Full circle, baby.
That's all right. I think we're ready to dive into the movie event of the century.
It only took 2 hours, but we're finally here.
Yeah, I know, right? Oh boy. Yeah. Timestamp, baby. 202. 50. But
I guess we can start by saying, what did you watch first between the two?
Barbie.
Yeah. I saw Barbie on Thursday. I was going to watch Oppenheimer after, but I don't want to stay up that late.
I thank you, Josh, for being normal. I was like,
one time, yeah.
I saw Barbie at like 6 o'clock.
Because I saw it at the 4 screen Barbie, and I would have to wait till like 9:30 to watch Oppenheimer. I was like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, I wanted to see Barbie in IMAX, or I wanted to see Oppenheimer in IMAX. I saw Barbie at Cinemark. I'm like, I'm not driving all the way over there to see it in IMAX, and just whatever. So yeah, Barbie was first. I love Barbie. Great movie. Greta Gerwig wins again. It's a great directorial vision for Barbie. Now, I was not worried, but I was curious to see how her vision would come across in contrast to like a Lady Bird or Little Women in Barbie.
Yeah.
And the trailer sold us on one thing, and that's what we kind of got with this movie. It's very heartwarming. and very not meta, but just like the message of the movie is so like in your face. It's there, but
Not
it just
subtle at
works.
all.
It's not
but
subtle
good.
at all, but that's what makes this movie so special.
Yeah.
Because it's so in your face and it's hilarious as hell. This is one of the most funny movies I've seen all year.
Behind Theater Camp, probably the funniest movie of the year. Like
Agreed.
I think it was until I saw Theater Camp, but it's very funny.
Like this movie is just laugh out loud funny in just the most meta and commentative way possible. Margot Robbie's fucking star. She's
Gosling.
fantastic.
Ryan Gosling is the MVP, of course.
He's
literally
just,
everything he fucking says or does is just so funny.
His physical comedy is perfect.
It's so good.
It's incredible.
Like during the dance scene when he's like doing the dance, and it's so good.
It's so good. I was like, how do you capture that magic? Wow. The dialogue.
It's probably the best embodiment of a role I've seen, like maybe ever, maybe since I don't know, Robert Downey Jr. Tony Stark. It's up there.
Yeah, it's up there for just like perfectly cast roles where Barbie and Ken just have this great dynamic from the jump where like, Ken loves Barbie. Barbie doesn't really love Ken. But just their arcs, their individual arcs and how they intersect at the end, very well thought out, very well told. I love seeing Ken's like journey in the service world. I was worried. I was like, is the service world going to be as compelling as what we see in the Barbie world? Not even from a design standpoint, because the production design, of course, is immaculate in the Barbie world, but just even as a like thematic level, is it going to be interesting? And it is. Like Ken's journey of understanding masculinity and how it is in the real world compared to what we see in Barbie is just
the scene where he's like, to be honest, I lost interest in patriarchy when I learned it wasn't just about horses.
Hilarious. My favorite scene is when he's talking to Homeboy in the main office. He was like, is this where like the masculinity, is this where like the masculine people hang out? He's like, actually, yes. So the dude's like, yeah, we don't really talk about it, but yes, it is. Like, yeah. It's hilarious, like hilariously meta. It's fantastic. Even the Will Ferrell stuff is just so funny. Like, I'm the son of a mother. like some of the dialogue just had.
A lot of people don't like Will Ferrell stuff, but I think it works for me a lot.
I thought it worked for me. I think everybody worked for me. Everybody just had their time to shine in this movie. It was great.
Yeah, I think this movie, not only do I think the movie is very like not subtle at all, but also like I really like how there's like you can kind of almost read like religious themes into the movie, like this whole like Barbie land being the perfect world. It's almost kind of like Adam and Eve, Barbie and Ken, and then they introduce the original sin, and then it becomes all of this stuff. But like unlike in the Bible or anything like that, like the original sin actually allows for this Barbie world to actually move to a positive aftermath, I guess you can describe it. Like, and this is another point that I want to discuss real quick about the movie. All of these dumb motherfuckers on the internet saying that it's anti-men or that the movie hates men or anything. Like, the movie's very clearly, again, this movie is not subtle at all. This movie is very clearly saying the gender imbalance is a bad thing, not just for women but for men too.
Yeah, not just for like the men and the men like saying like we didn't feel appreciated by you guys. Like the movie acknowledges that, right? Like at the end of this movie, Barbie apologizes. Not everybody stays the same. It's like, yeah, the women are still in the Supreme Court, which is very
yeah. Well, things change, right? More like personal dynamics. Yeah,
personal dynamics. The structure changes. Like the beginning of the movie isn't the end.
Issa Rae blatantly says like, no, we don't want to do things exactly the same. We want to change some things. Like when she's talking about Will Ferrell. Yeah,
exactly. So it's like, everything's changed. Everything's different. There's evolution. There's progress that's being made throughout this movie, which is so worthwhile. I just love this movie. The comedy was great. The whole I am Ken. Is it I am Ken?
I am Ken.
I'm just Ken.
I'm just Ken.
Musical number.
So
incredible.
Good.
But I put in my Letterboxd review for my rewatch. Like sometimes you just gotta say like fuck subtlety and have fun doing it, because like this movie is not subtle at all. But like who cares? It's so much fun, and sometimes you don't need subtlety when it comes to like the subtext and the messaging, and you need to like be as blatant as possible, because for some people like they need that.
And for a Barbie, which isn't a blatant
Yeah.
Barbie in and of itself is like it's hard to describe. It's a blatant toy, right? Like this is Barbie. We all know Barbie.
It's very much like Barbie, like the toy, the IP, very much like is created because of the subtext, because of the message, you know.
Exactly, for sure. And just seeing how it evolved over time, and then there's just so many good, surprisingly emotional and profound moments, like Barbie talking to the old lady at the bench. Barbie
that seems so good.
So good. Barbie talking to
Ruth at the end.
To Ruth,
the creator.
The both scenes, like we're starting with the creator at the beginning when she's running away from Will Ferrell. You don't
that
know
one's so good too. It's so
you don't know it's Ruth yet, but you're like it's
good.
still a genuine, just a very emotional scene. And then at the end, that final teardrop sequence at the very end with
America Ferrera's monologue is like
we didn't even talk about that. America Ferrera is fantastic.
So
her daughter Ariana, very good as well. Just their mother-daughter dynamic is just so, again, profound and impactful. Her monologue is impactful. Her connection to Barbie, when you realize it's not Ariana, the daughter, that's having these thoughts about Barbie, that is the mother. In fact, it's just, it makes it even more genuine and very cool. Just a very cool twist. Barbie, it's a flat out fun movie. I can't wait to watch it.
One of the best last lines in a movie.
It's so good.
Loved it. I did not expect it, but thank you. And what's so good is that, like, this is coming from Baumbach and Gerwig, which are they're not the most blatant writers, right? Like both Lady Bird and Little Women are all like, they're blatant at times, but also very subtle character dynamics, which I love. And especially, on Baumbach, like his movies are all like things you have to like dive into.
Yeah.
Especially like a Marriage Story or like even White Noise. Like White Noise is
a lot.
White Noise is a lot. It's a lot, but like it's not like super blatant. You got to dive into White Noise, which is why the reversal for both of these writers for Barbie makes it so good. Like this,
it made sense because like this is more of a accessible movie for that either of them have ever worked on before.
Exactly.
Yeah, but also like the sense that with like Barbie and Ken toys, you kind of like, as a kid, if you ever play with them, either on your own or with your little sister or whatever, like they're very blatant. Like you're not like playing like very like sophisticated, like pretense,
like their boyfriend girlfriend.
Like it's not subtle. It's just like
and
you're just having fun with it, and it feels like that in the movie too.
The way this movie like flips that on its head and like really says something about those like stereotypical gender roles, honestly. And it's a really smart movie that's not as subtle, but it doesn't need to be, because like we've been saying. And I think it's just really smart. It's funny. It's really creative. It's a technical marvel. Like the tats in this movie are insane. It's did production design that Oscars a lot. It's such like
I don't know about lock, but it's a lot for nomination.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know if it's as consistent as like we might see in Dune.
But to still back to like what we started the show with, and like this whole fight against like AI and for this industry, like you would not get a movie this creative and original and passionate and like this much of a vision without the human viewpoint, without someone bringing their own voice and vision to this.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like the bigger competitor for Barbie in terms of production design would be something like Poor Things rather than Dune.
Yeah,
possibly.
Dune, I think, is also it's a different kind of production.
Dune is just like it's an entirely new,
very more natural
from beginning to end. Where Barbie is just like half the movie is
pink.
Is pink, and it's great. It's perfect. It's incredible. But Dune's more consistent.
Don't edit that short. Come on.
What? I'm not
like the Barbie land is like it's so good, and the matte paintings and like
I'm saying
transition,
it's perfect. I'm saying one half of the movie is perfect though. What I'm saying, like for Dune,
we've already seen Dune also. That could play into it.
Sure, but have we seen like the Arrakis Arena or whatever that was? I don't know what that was.
Black and white.
The black and white world. I didn't read the books. But like
I don't know. I think it's more of a showy production design. So
definitely, and especially when you get to the like if they're able to do like campaigns, what the production designer has been talking about for Barbie and what they did for that world. It's very
sold out
cool.
paint.
Yeah. So yeah, I think definitely if we're talking awards, picture, production design, hopefully screenplay. I wouldn't.
We
say
think
why
it's
not.
in picture for sure. I think so.
I wouldn't say for sure yet,
I think
but
the
I hope
box
so.
office, the hype around it, the fact that it's succeeded on most everyone's hype and has good reviews, I think it's in there for sure.
I agree. I mean, yeah. I mean, because looking at like other people's predictions, people who don't have Barbie in their predictions are like putting movies like Maestro in there and I just gotta say,
Air,
people who aren't predicting movies like Spider-Verse or Barbie or what's the other one?
Past Lives,
Dune.
Past Lives or Dune. I think most people are predicting Dune and Past Lives, but like people who aren't predicting like a Barbie, whatever, they're putting in other boring movies. To be honest, boring looking movies like a Maestro or Zone of Interest. Napoleon, right? Like I haven't seen these movies, but I would believe Across the Spider-Verse, Barbie, etc., are going to be more interesting.
Whenever we do this Nets versus like Oscars,
I know.
So interesting. We need to do it. It's just I'm busy and we're busy.
That's just how I am. I got to think about these things. But either way, I hope and I think Barbie will be nominated. I'll be surprised if it isn't. Anyways,
Gosling is it's interesting because I think supporting actor is like
Barbie,
between these two movies.
Back. Yeah. It's back, baby.
Yeah.
You know, the Academy's gonna love it. They're gonna position Gosling v. RDJ. Who wins? You would decide.
And I think that's a good segue if we're all wrapped up with our thoughts for Barbie.
One last thing. No. I think it's amazing. I love Barbie. It's in my top 10 of the year. Loved it.
Same here.
Oppenheimer, though.
Devastating.
Loved it.
The opposite, but loved it just as much.
Oh my God. Like I was expecting, I don't know what I was expecting because, man, I love this movie. I don't usually rewatch Nolan movies in theaters that much. I've seen this one twice. I would love to see it again if I have time.
I haven't rewatched it yet, but I have a ticket for a 70mm IMAX screening in my 2 weeks. So I'm still waiting on them.
You wanna clap there, Josh? Or?
Clapping for myself, yeah.
Congrats. There's like I don't even know where the closest 70mm bullshit is for me. I probably have to travel to like Chicago or something.
Yeah. I don't think there's even one in Chicago.
Is there not even one in Chicago? That's
wild. Yeah.
That's crazy.
But there's like 3 near me.
That's crazy. That's stupid. Expand, damn it. Go to Ohio. Anyways, Oppenheimer.
There could be a science center in Ohio that's showing it.
No, I looked. No. This movie is glorious, devastating, powerful, impactful, beautiful. This is an Evan core movie. Like, this movie speaks to me. Like it is. I'm a history major. I love me a good historical biopic. Probably my new favorite historical biopic next to National Treasure. Just kidding. But I love the history behind this. I love Cillian Murphy's acting. The performances, what Nolan as a director managed to get out of every single actor and
you forget that these people are actors,
right? Like holy shit, everybody! If you have 5 seconds of screen time, you're killing it. Like Cillian, of course, that Oscar I wouldn't say it's locked up. Because
I would say it is.
Really? Okay. Because I don't even know who his competition would be. I'm blanking right now.
Bradley Cooper, maybe.
Bradley Cooper because he's putting on makeup. Oh, Leo, that's what it is. Leo. But it's like, Leo's best performance versus Cillian's best performance. You never know. That's gonna be one interesting Oscar. But then I just love Cillian's whole, or I guess Nolan's whole grapple with morality. Like this is a morality tale combined with the biopic, combined with the war epic, combined with the courtroom drama, combined with the horror. Like Nolan,
guys, we're forgetting Cillian Murphy's main competition.
Who?
Chris Evans and Ghosted.
Oh fuck! You're right. Yeah. That's gonna be hard. That's going to be hard.
Right.
That's some high competition there.
Maybe even Taron Egerton, Tetris.
he's
I
good.
mean, it's actually good.
He's good.
He's actually good. Not top 5 good, but he's good. But yeah, like Nolan crafted so many different genres into one beautiful picture.
Yeah.
I was stunned at how like well paced, how well told, the dialogue, like every kind of category. This movie checks all the boxes for me. It's a phenomenal picture. If it wasn't for Across the Spider-Verse, it's probably my favorite movie of the year. Like I loved everything about this movie. I loved absolutely everything. I think it helps on repeat viewings because certain character motivations, i.e., like Emily Blunt's character, I forget her name now, the wife. What she was going through in that second act, I was kind of like a little bit confused in first viewing, but it kind of like I kind of gelled with it more.
You kind of have to like also like keep in mind that we're seeing those events through like Oppenheimer's eyes. Like we're not really into like inside her other people's psyches. It's just him, like how he perceives things.
For sure, which is totally fair. But yeah, that led to certain characters making their own decisions, and I was kind of mystified by those decisions. Like for Emily Blunt, Florence Pugh, somebody else. I was just like, what are they doing here? What's their position? But yeah, as you said, if it's told through his eyes, he has a particular point of view, especially when it comes to the women in his life, that you can understand why they might not have the biggest voice, or why the moment Emily Blunt has the biggest voice is in defense of him. So that's why, So
I also like quick side note, like I love like again spoilers, but I mean you can't really spoil history, so
it's kind of hard to spoil this movie.
But like that entire scene where he gets like the news of Florence Pugh's like death, like she killed herself or whatever. There's like that brief shot of like a
shot
glove,
of the
hand of the glove in the water is so fucking subtle, but it's so freaking good.
It's great,
and it's also like a really good way to juxtapose either like him feeling guilty for her death and almost feeling like he's like the one who pushed her to kill herself, or like like the conspiracy theories that actually she was murdered, she wasn't killed.
I think she was murdered.
I mean it's pretty, it kind of becomes obvious after like
the
briefing sessions.
Yeah by the okay never mind.
She was a communist, I guess.
Commie.
But like also like just like that scene between him and Emily Blunt. I know everybody's talking about her scene in with Jason Clarke, but like that scene where Emily is like she's she's just like yelling at Oppenheimer about like I don't really remember the exact line, but like that entire like back and forth between her and him of her saying like, why do you expect us to feel bad for you for your sins? And it's just a great way to just like again just like basically explain what the movie's about, like his grappling with like with the guilt of it all.
Big time. That was a great scene for Emily. Like she had two great scenes. People talk about, like you said, the other scene, but that scene, very thematic choice and very impactful. So yeah, Emily Blunt killed it.
This movie's good. It's just all right.
Are you serious?
Oh no.
Ain't no way.
It's phenomenal. It's one of Nolan's best. It's top 3 best, but also top 4 best.
I don't get it.
We'll explain later. But yeah, everybody in this movie is great.
The ensemble is incredible. Cillian Murphy's so much nuance to that performance that only he could do. And I was so impressed by Robert Downey Jr. in that third act, man. He's just electric. He's insane in this movie.
My smile, I was just so happy, like so enthralled by his performance. Like when he's just going off on Auden and then
a lot of people are giving shit to that third act, saying it's like inconsequential.
Probably the best part of the movie.
It's the best part of the movie. Yeah,
my favorite part. The movie.
It's so interesting.
The movie crescendos to like the Trinity sequence. And my heart's
which is also fantastic too.
It's fantastic. The whole
silence after the gun was off to the sound. Oh my fucking god!
Like the first 2 acts are so thrilling, but then my favorite moments of the movie are in the third act with just like RDJ, Jason Clarke,
It's so fascinating.
Alden. It's just Dane DeHaan, like Emily Blunt, like a lot of these
They're
actors
fucking
get to
play
shine in
depressed
that third
sweatpants
act.
Einstein, man.
Yeah,
Sweatpants Einstein
yeah,
is like one of the
Einstein's
best
great.
fucking things in this movie.
And just like Cillian, right? Whatever. Cillian's acting in that third act as his like morality starts to grapple with that, like his scenes with Truman, who I had no idea was Gary Oldman, by the way, zero clue.
You didn't?
Not at all.
It would very much like Darkest Hour, Gary Oldman to me.
Oh really? No,
For sure.
I thought he was a very good looking not good looking, but like very accurate looking Truman. I was like, oh shit! No, he was great. Like, tell that crybaby to shut the fuck up. No, but Truman was great. I mean, I just thought the third act.
I just love that this is the year of Alden Ehrenreich's comeback too. Like Cocaine Bear, Fair Play coming out. I think there's more too.
It's Rami Malek in this movie is also really good. Like his last monologue.
The one saying.
Even though he might not be the best person in the world, like Casey Affleck is fucking terrifying in this movie.
Oh my god, rightfully terrifying. Yeah, so yeah, that was a.
I think Matt Damon is being Matt Damon, but like I'm loving it. Like it's great Matt Damon.
When Appy was like, "What are you gonna do?" He just walked away. He was like, "Oh, we'll just kill him."
Yeah,
and then the audience is like, "This cracks up every time." It's a great beat.
And that ending, man, that ending is so powerful, so
powerful. Again, I shouldn't have been like I should have been devastated, but I was also like smiling because I was like, that was a really fucking good ending.
So good.
It's such a good ending. Like this is how I would love to see the movie ending, because the whole movie you're like, what did they say? And for them to end it that way.
I don't know if you guys talked about it, but like the scene with after the bombs go off when he's in the community hall at the gym, the stomping, like, oh my fucking
sound
god!
design.
I think that's one of the best scenes in the movie.
Between this and Dune, that's gonna be a battle for sound design.
I think it's so nuanced here because like that one scream after he like talks about the bombs from and just the ashes on the ground, and like it's just so good.
Yeah, even the change when like the bomb was being chained away and driven off, like you hear like the change, like Prometheus is changed, like. It's very like the sound is very purposeful and poetic.
Speaking of sound, we can't not talk about Ludwig Göransson's phenomenal score.
Holy shit! God. Is this the best score of the 2020s so far?
Not for me, but I think it's fucking really good.
Top 10
is my favorite.
Top 10, definitely.
Top 5.
It's this, Dune, The Batman. What else?
Oh, The Batman.
I like Minari's score a lot. Nope. Yeah.
Minari has that one great track.
Babylon, obviously.
Oh yeah, totally.
I was jamming to the what was it fucking called? Voodoo something.
Voodoo Mama.
Yeah. I was jamming to that on the highway today. Oh my god!
I think Green Knight has a great score too. The Green Knight.
Oh, does it? Okay.
Oh yeah, the Green Knight. Yeah.
I haven't listened to it.
Wave Water, obviously.
It's okay.
It's good.
I mean,
It's good. It's good. I wouldn't put it top 10, but it's good.
Okay. Cross Spider-Verse. Come on, that's a top score for sure.
Spider-Verse and Oppie are the only ones I've been listening to back.
I would also put another Ludwig score, Tenet. I think the score for Tenet is great.
Honestly, I think his Turning Red score is also really fucking good.
I haven't gone back and listened to either of those scores, but Turning Red does have. I mean, again, for Tenet, I feel like I remember certain sequences, but I don't remember like the score.
The Truts in Place, like within a Trut sequence. Oh my
like exactly like that sequence.
The prologue.
Yeah. But going back real quick to the movie, to the ending that Evan was talking about right now, I really like how like the ending, the very last line that Alden's character has towards RDJ's character. Yeah. I think that's another great way to juxtapose like the entire movie and the bombings, because like this man has been obsessed for I don't know how long with what Oppenheimer told Einstein, and like how Alden's character says like, what if they were talking about something more important than you?
Than you,
than you, God. and they were, and that's just like a great way just to like to mirror how America like was back then in that moment. They thought they were like the center of the world, and that they had to like finally put an end to everything to the war or whatever. And even if Japan was on the verge of like surrendering, they still went and bombed the place anyway. So again, like
yeah. And he like not Kyoko because we had a great vacation there. I'm like, oh my god, like,
Yeah.
that whole scene is just like, so icky.
And I also like again the scenes with Einstein are really good, but another scene earlier between him and Oppenheimer when they're talking about the possibility of destroying the world once they press the button because of the chain reaction it's going to cause on the atmosphere, and that scene where he's like, maybe you should go ahead and share your data with the Nazis so they would stop making the bomb. And that's another like what would have happened if they would have stopped like doing research and that they would have just like killed the project altogether.
Yeah, Nolan's script for this movie is just out of this world, man.
It's flawless.
It's incredible.
It's a great adapted screenplay. I can't wait to read the book.
He managed to make the 3-hour like historical biopic epic feel like an 80-minute movie. Honestly, it just flies by.
It's so engaging. It's crazy. That's because of the score. The score makes you so engaged with this.
And I love how their score, like 95% of the movie too. Like there's always some type of music in it. It's so good.
Yeah, either a score or some big visceral sound.
I also I think it's wild. Like again, I love the fact that Barbie and this movie are doing great at the boxes, but I think it's wild that a 3-hour biopic that is in black and white is almost gonna hit $1 billion.
That's nuts.
That's insane.
That's nuts. Yeah. Like who would have thought Oppenheimer could possibly make more than like a Batman movie? Like
The Flash, like
The Flash,
right?
I mean, honestly, looking like to the beginning of the year,
movie.
like Fast 10, The Flash, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Oppenheimer's making more than all those.
That's crazy.
Right? Or is it more than Guardians? Yeah.
Not yet,
but it's
projected to do at most like 900, which is above Guardians. Like if it keeps performing the way it is, it's not out of the realm of possibility.
It doesn't have much competition, like besides, I mean, honestly, until
I'll put this guy in the lap.
The Meg too.
I don't even know if the Meg's gonna be.
It has IMAX screens until like this whole fucking month. Wait,
until Blue Beetle,
So, Blue Beetle has it. Okay.
Yeah.
But earlier this year, I would have never expected Oppenheimer to make as much money.
Did not expect it to be the Oscars front runner for right now for Best Picture.
That's crazy too, right? Yeah, because like I look at Nolan and I'm like, I predicted it'll be.
He's been so hit and miss with Oscars.
Yeah, I predicted like, it'll be like he'll be in a Best Picture.
It'll be a bit more than Tenet, I think, was what I was thinking.
It'll be a bit more than Tenet. I thought it'd be nominated for Best Picture because it's Nolan and it's 2023. So I was like,
Tenet was like Goose Egg, besides like one nom.
Yeah. I'm still shocked Dunkirk got all those nominations, to be serious.
Yeah.
But I did not.
But, like, it's a tech player. It has the performances, which is big for a Nolan movie.
This is going to be the movie with the most nominations come Oscar morning.
And it might be one of the most wins if it is Best Picture, honestly.
Exactly. Yeah. Usually the most nominations means But like,
but wait, what about last year? Like Ever Nowhere it delivered. It got the most wins we've seen in like years since La La Land, I think.
Wasn't Everywhere like at least like 9 nominations?
Got 7 wins. Like 11 noms, 7 wins, I think.
7 wins. Yeah. And for this movie, it's like Best Picture could win. Best Actor very much could win.
Screenplay could win.
Screenplay
supporting actor. Supporting actress maybe.
Supporting actor.
Production design.
Visual effects. Score. It's like it's crazy.
Costumes.
I don't know if it's costumes.
I mean, the Oscars love like their.
They do love their old. Yeah, they do love their old timers shit. But so everything's possible. The best original song, "We Are All Oppenheimer." I love that song.
By Billie Eilish, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
He's just like me.
Oh no! Yikes! But yeah, so this movie just for me, it just checks all the boxes. It's a perfect movie, in my opinion. I just loved it. I cannot wait to own this on Blu-ray and rewatch it every year.
Yeah,
because it's just that good. It's great, and I said it up top earlier. But like between this and Prestige, like my favorite Nolan movies, depending on the day.
Yeah.
It's great.
All right. Let me bring up these Letterboxd list.
Uh-oh.
I haven't ranked my last couple movies, so
I'm about to be judged.
You haven't? No,
Some stuff is at
okay.
the bottom. I'm too tired to rank these. Big Brother came
Just
back.
tell us
and
where
I'm-
it will be then.
Okay, cool. I will.
I have a
I
game
think-
for you.
Okay, cool.
Try to-
We have.
What's your game?
Oh, never
This
mind.
is Edgar's. Yeah.
Wait. Before you scroll down, try to guess where Gran Turismo is.
You watched it? Wait,
interesting.
you've watched it already?
I watched it last night. I told you guys.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Did you guys thought I was joking?
I
We don't
didn't
reach out
see
at
that
you.
message. Yeah.
That was past Josh's bedtime. I'm kidding.
I was probably working, honestly.
Let me see. How many movies have you seen, Edgar?
Crazy amount.
60? 70?
69.
69.
Great.
69!
Nice.
I think 45.
Okay.
45? That's 70. I mean, the fact that you're asking this question makes it seem that's pretty high.
No way it's
for
in the top
Gran
20.
Turismo.
No way it's in the top 20. I refuse.
I'll
It can't
say,
be top
dude,
20.
I'll say 37.
That's
Okay.
good. That's good. That's a good one too. What is it? Let's see.
All right.
I know how we're talking about a movie that we won't talk about until like in a month.
Until a month. Yeah.
There it is.
30.
Wow, 30.
Wow.
Over the Covenant? I love the Covenant.
Love
Covenant's
you,
great.
friend Wendy. Come on.
Wow.
I mean,
Riley to 27? Josh, how dare you?
What?
Wait, that's
Riley,
my list.
27.
This is Edgar's list.
I know, but me and Josh love Riley.
Oh yeah. That's dumb.
That's really low.
Riley
Dungeons and
marks
Dragons is really low. Yeah.
Riley marks the 4 out of 5s.
Okay.
That's like the great movie.
Okay.
I had a
What's
blast.
about you, top? What's about Past
Yeah.
Lives? I think that's all of our number ones at this point, right?
No,
Like
it's not.
between
No.
1 and Riley, that's like the good shit right there.
Past Lives is my number
Shit, that's
3.
kinda,
now, I think.
Really interesting. Okay.
Yeah. But
Oppenheimer, yeah, that makes sense. John Wick, yep.
wow, still talking number 3.
Mm-hmm.
I need to rewatch John Wick. Margaret's
Theater Camp
great.
in top 5 or top 10?
Theater Camp, top 5, top 6. I mean,
Nimona really high. Reality really high. I love that.
Nimona's, yeah.
Guardians too low. We'll say that.
Mm. Still top 10.
Asteroid City too low.
Oh,
It's a solid list.
I did watch TMT, by the way. It's good.
You watch what?
Teenage Ninja, whatever, Mutant.
Oh, I
Turtle.
love TMNT. I haven't put that.
Fast 10, way too low. I will say that.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Plane is better than Fast X, in my opinion. But okay. Plane is fun.
Plane is fun, but it doesn't have Jason Momoa.
That's
Yeah.
a good point. It's a good point. That's a good point.
Honestly, still one of my favorite performances of the year. That's crazy.
Time to
Like
go.
top 5, probably.
Sick is fun. I think Sick should be way high. I like Sick a bit more than Edgar.
I thought it was very forgettable. I don't remember much from it, and I watched.
It's a
remember the
COVID
third act.
movie. It's a good COVID movie.
I know what it is about. I'm just saying, like, I don't really like. It didn't really stick with me.
I need to watch Stand Rank. That's like on my list.
I don't know if I'm a minority here. I would still put Ant-Man above Flash.
Really?
Because I
haven't
think
seen
at least
Flash yet,
Ant-Man
but-
has like Jonathan Majors doing good stuff. The Flash
I mean,
has, like,
that's iffy now.
but either way, the performance is better than like anything the
Yeah.
Flash.
I
gives.
mean, I will. The only reason why I have the Flash in that spot is because even though I don't think the movie earns it, I think it still has somewhat of a heart, and
that's true. That's
doesn't
fair.
really have anything.
Yeah. Shotgun Wedding. That should be easily number 2. Okay.
That trailer was crazy.
Yeah.
Man, Somebody Used to Know isn't that bad.
65 is that low? I mean,
Mama
it's not,
Mafia,
it's not
baby.
trash. Poor Adam
It's-
Driver, man.
Here's the thing about this year so far. I don't think I've seen a single movie that I've outright hated.
True.
That's good. Yeah.
True. I mean, I saw
Like-
Sound of Freedom.
I haven't seen a lot of Netflix movies this year, so that's why. But
Yeah.
Have you seen?
I
Blood
forgot
Money
you
2?
did Tribeca, so that's why a lot of these like random movies are showing up.
yeah,
69.
All right. Let's go to Evans.
Oh no! Why me?
Sush, what is that?
Suzume.
Suzume? Yeah. Sorry. Barbie.
Call it like you see it.
Barbie had the
Suzume.
top 5. Wow.
I don't know. Like I was contending between Barbie and Mission, but I have more of a connection to the Mission franchise.
Guardians in top 10. I love that.
easily.
Yeah.
John Wick.
Dungeons and Dragons that high. Wow.
I love Dungeons and Dragons.
We're
Great
missing.
shit.
Interesting.
Yep. Air is still great. I don't know where you had Evil Dead Rise, but I liked Evil Dead Rise.
It's
Covenant's
solid.
still good.
Somewhere in the middle for me.
I think Maiden's better than it. But yeah.
Whoa, what the heck? I didn't know that was Megan. These poster switches.
Yeah.
It's an interesting poster. And yeah. Everything else.
Solid list. Yeah.
I don't know where to put.
Okay. I was like, what?
I know. I gotta put Talk to Me in theater camp. I saw
Where
this
would you put
literally
it?
days ago. That's hard.
Top
Is
20?
Talk to Me
Top
in my
10?
top. It's easily my top 20 now. I would put it. It's better than Scream.
Yeah.
Probably. I think I liked it better than Air. But is it 12 now?
I would say it's better than
Above
Missing.
Creed 3.
Yeah, I just Talk to Me. That ending is just fucked with me.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I really like Creed 3 a lot. That movie was cool.
Creed 3 rocks.
Yeah.
I love Creed 3.
It sucks
And
like
then-
everything with the John Major stuff because like that movie just died in
It's great.
conversation.
Yeah.
And it's
I still think it's great. I mean, yeah, I still defend Creed 3 just as much as I still love 7, even though it has that guy in it.
What guy?
Kevin.
Kevin.
Oh, yeah.
Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin.
My dad had short story. My dad texted me over the weekend. He was like, "What are your thoughts on Kevin Spacey?" And I'm like, "What?" out of
was random.
nowhere. And then, like, apparently he got acquitted over some crime, whatever. I'm like, I still don't like
Wow,
the guy.
Little Mermaid that high. Oof.
It's good. It's
Better than
good.
our OG.
No, you're not crazy, eyed Nathan.
Come on, Josh. Now you're listening.
But then I don't know
so
where I don't know where theater camp is. I don't think theater camp's going to be as like top 10, but theater camp's great.
Okay, speaking of theater camp,
Higher than Barbie.
Wow, number 3.
I loved it, man. I loved it so
Okay.
much.
Wow.
Oppenheimer low.
6 for
I need to watch it
Oppenheimer.
again.
Wow. 4 for Barbie. 2 for Guardians. Asteroid City.
I love Guardians. I'm surprised that movie has stuck with me as much as it has. Like it's just so powerful, and the messaging is great, and it's just like practically and like visual effects wise, it's great, and the story is great, and the ending is beautiful.
Yeah, Talk to Me might be the same place as Josh's 13-ish,
Yeah.
that area.
See, like I've never had like a top 10 this hard to rank. This like
Last
this
year?
one year. I mean, I don't know. Even then it was like easier, but like I really like all of these are so good. I did like rank them honestly.
Yeah, 2022 was
all
great,
around.
but it got even harder in the fall.
Yeah.
I think right now might be the
Whereas like
hardest.
this year we don't have as many fall movies.
Yeah. So I think we might hit the hardest earlier than last year. I mean, we have what? Killers, Dune, and
Well, we have a lot, but I
we
don't
have,
know.
The
It's
Killer,
Poor Things,
Poor Things,
Miyazaki's movie.
Libido.
Dune. The Traitor, I think is what's told too.
Great trailer.
Yeah.
So
So like, all of the horror movies for me are just like in this middle right here.
yeah, you guys have theater camp so high. I'm like, am I wrong? No,
Yes.
but
I loved it. Yes,
I mean,
you're wrong.
I think I haven't. Did I leave a review for it? I don't know, but I think for me, theater camp is a fun 4 out of 5
It just
stars.
worked so much for me.
I don't know if I'm gonna rewatch it as much as the other top 10.
I'm gonna watch that movie so much once it comes out.
But it's great. You're right. It's so hard. But it does what it does so well. It's just so different, right? It's a sweet, short and sweet 90-minute movie.
In Asteroid City, like I'm just a big Wes Anderson fan. That movie.
I'm a huge Wes
great.
Anderson fan. I loved it. I thought it was great.
Shut up. And Spider-Verse is probably too low for you, Evan, but I don't care.
Very low. You're wrong, but it's okay.
Yeah. I like Cobb Up a lot. You guys need to watch that.
I'll check it out. Dungeons at 31.
See, like it's fun, but it didn't really stick with me, and it's just like I don't know. It's
I showed my mom, my stepdad
Not that
Dungeons.
much.
They were like, "I love this movie." It's fun.
all right.
Again, you guys have Quantum Mania at the back of the wall.
It's
I'm
so
telling
bad.
you, I think it's better than The Flash.
Well, I haven't seen The Flash, but
Oh, true.
I like Ghosted more than it though. Because Louise Ghosted.
Wait, do I have
was
Shazam
bad,
higher or
but
lower than
fun.
Ant-Man? Can you go to my list real quick? I forget what I have. I think Ant-Man is higher than The Flash, lower than Shazam. Where am I at? There's Ant-Man.
Ant-Man is
No,
of
it's below
Flash, but
Shazam.
Shazam is above it.
I don't know.
They're right. There you go.
Is that right? Is that right? I don't know. When it gets to the bottom, like I stopped giving a fuck about the rankings.
Yeah.
What is the mother?
Jennifer Lopez movie.
So you're being Edgar.
See, I've been redeemed.
I've had some free time.
Wait. Jennifer Lopez, Galatasaray Garcia Bernal, Paul Raci. Interesting.
Yeah. It's bad, Bob.
Okay.
Operation Fortune, though, fun movie with Josh Hartnett being very weird and fun. In contrast to his Abby role. But overall, this was fun.
Good month.
A blast and a half.
Monthly episode yet, but there's a lot to
Probably going to be our longest month, unless we talk about 2 hours for Blue Beetle next month.
Yeah.
Gran Turismo, baby. Gotta talk about that puke on those lawns.
Yeah. I will say
it's getting good reviews. What the fuck?
Real quick. There's some really cool drone shots on that movie in Gran Turismo, but they don't hold as long on them.
As ambulance.
Somebody like Michael Bay would have held those shots longer, and it was kind of annoying me. But anyway,
did Neil Blomkamp cook or not?
He could. I mean, it's better than Chappie.
Casual dining meal. I did quick service meal.
Yeah, it's good.
McDonald's.
I think the racing scenes are a little bit repetitive, but yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
All right, so that's it for July.
Yeah.
Take us out, Josh.
Evan, where do people find you?
Closing out for me. Find me on Threads. Kidding. Find me on Twitter at HarrisEV9. A lot. I forgot to talk about it, but for TV wise, I have been loving Star Trek: Strange New Worlds.
Oh, I need to watch that.
Please check that out on Plus. I binged 18 episodes in like a week. It's great.
How long is each season?
10 episodes for season 1, 10 episodes for season 2, I think. Season 3 was supposed to be filming in May, but there was a certain thing called a strike going on. So we might not get the season for a long time. Either way, Stranger Worlds is great. Hijack on Apple TV Plus is mid.
Never heard of that. I just said you're becoming Edgar.
It's the Idris Elba Apple show. You had to have heard of it. Either way, those are two shows. I started watching Warrior on HBO Max with Andrew Koji. Badass, great show. And then last night, Big Brother 25 started, baby. We're back. We're back. I've been watching live feeds during this podcast. It's great. I love you guys too. But I'm gonna be obsessed with Big Brother. That's my shit. So I have high hope for this season. It's gonna be 100 days this time, the longest Big Brother season. So that's bad.
Wow, that's big.
That is big. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. But yeah, so watching Big Brother, and that's about it. A lot of anime, a lot of TV, but I can't wait for August. August has some good stuff in it. I can't wait for I'm excited to see Blue Beetle. Gran Turismo has me curious. What?
Team NT. I'm excited for that.
Oh yeah, Team NT was a blast. I loved it.
The Meg sweep.
The Meg 0%. Let's go. I think it went up. Unfortunately, I would have loved for it to stay at 0%. I would have loved that. But I'm going to see it this weekend.
Yeah, me too.
It comes out this weekend.
It's out now. Yeah.
It's so funny because I think after Oppenheimer and Barbie, it almost feels like nobody cares about what's coming next. At least shortly after that.
Exactly. But yeah, good stuff. Harris.
Also, those are the last movies that have promotion too.
Yeah,
true. Yep.
But yeah, you can find me at EDGRTEG on all social medias, X, I guess, Instagram, Threads, Letterboxd. You can find some of my work at Loud and Clear Reviews and the Cinema Spot. And yeah, that's about it for me.
Yeah, and you'd find me at Josh D. Woodbury on Twitter, Threads, and you find his podcast at WHFG Podcast on Instagram, Twitter, and Threads for show announcements, updates. And yeah, we'll be linking, obviously, what we said at the top of the show, in the description and on our Twitter and probably Threads eventually. We have a whole thread about, once again, we support the strikes for the WGA and SAG-AFTRA against the AMPTPS or
AMPTP.
Yeah, for fair compensation and for just the heart in this industry, to keeping the human touch in filmmaking and in television, and that's very important to us. And we'll probably be addressing it with every episode because I think it's very relevant, and we can't talk. I don't feel right talking about movies and everything we do without addressing it, at least for me personally.
Bingo.
So yeah, you'd find, like I said, our handles. Next thing will probably be our first episode of that Indescribable Feeling, our awards show for this
fucking wild. Time
2023 award season, right? It's crazy.
That's
it's starting up.
crazy.
Festivals are starting up this month.
We did so many last year, and now it's already August. That's nuts.
Now we're starting it back up soon.
Yeah, here we go.
So yeah, stay tuned for that. We'll probably give our early predictions for Oscars, talk about all the festival lineups, maybe do a little Emmys prediction since we have a lot more time for that now.
Also, next month, summer box office update, so we'll do that.
Yes, me and Edgar.
Right. Yeah.
That's gonna be fun.
That'll be fun. Yeah, so maybe a few other things. We'll see. Depends on how busy we are. But to stay tuned to our social medias.
Yep.
And for that being said,
let them come.
Good here.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Let them come.